I still can't hear. I'm not sure.
I'm going on my phone. See if I can.
Okay, I can hear other people on the teams, but I still can't hear the room.
Hi, we're having technical difficulties. Please stand by.
My computer's not working. I can hear it on my phone. Only Tracy. I can't hear you guys. I can't hear you. This is on our website. So yes, this is YouTube. You're on the website? No. No. On. What's going on?
Check.
Oh, he must have his.
Lacey, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
I can hear the room now.
I think I got it. Tracy?
Who's got their audio?
Yeah,
Yes,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, Tracy. Try again.
Yes, I can hear
We
you.
got it.
I can't hear Tracy.
I can hear Tracy very low.
No, well, because it's on this computer.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, it's on his computer. Oh,
It's not on the,
Sorry, guys.
can you lower, yeah, the little, star. That's what I was just going, his is a little different. Oh, because mine is over here, so I was looking. Many people use the room. I think that's what they changed.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Tracy?
Tracy,
Yes.
can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Tracy, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Oh, I am speaking.
No, we can't hear Tracy.
Okay. 1 second.
But we heard Shot Nasdaq, so I don't know why Tracy.
Nasser?
We heard
Yes, I can
Nasdaq.
hear
Nasser,
you.
can you say something?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No,
hear me?
can't hear Nasser
We
either.
can't hear Nasdaq now.
I can hear Nasser and Tracy and
Can't hear
Shamba.
Jella either.
It's always-
They can
Can you hear me
us,
now?
And I can't hear any.
Nasser, we can't hear you at all. We just know you're speaking because the box here is green, but we can't hear you.
You been like this, right? Yeah.
Just 1 second.
Still plugging.
That's not even. Yeah, that would be happy just that is. And that is just the right. Should not listen.
What's going on?
Now you're gonna restart the computer.
What's going on?
It's out. I put the knobs are turned up. Yes, because the mic is so low.
We can.
Yeah, it's just.
They can even hear
It's
us now.
showing levels here.
Yeah, you can hear us right now.
I know, that's the thing.
You need the fucking clip, you need this, yeah.
No, before they couldn't hear.
So those who can hear us, the good thing is you can hear us, but the bad thing is we cannot hear anybody back. If anybody's going to call in, we will not be able to hear that. So we are trying to fix that technical issue.
No, I.
Thank you for your patience.
Difficulty. I can hear you, you can hear straight.
No, on this, so it's not so his screen will let us read, but we cannot hear it.
But earlier we heard him.
We heard.
Earlier.
I
Like-
heard that. Like
Yeah.
Tracy and
All
you
of a
you
sudden
guys
it didn't
said,
when he
Tracy,
switched.
can you say something?
Hello.
Understood.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
But we cannot hear her. Right, yeah, the room can't hear, room can't.
There's something wrong with the connection to the speaker in this room.
Is it possible to hear me now?
Hey team, can you hear me now?
Just always. Yeah, nothing's showing up here. Alright. Gotta get this off mic, because that'll be happening for. No problem.
This room got redone. We painted it and a lot of revival. So I don't know in the process.
Is anything?
It got
Yeah. Very, very possible.
the IT.
Yeah, well, cause I heard about it, cause I know they had camera issues here, cause DOB called. And I spoke to Nicole Friday, I told her, whenever if she knows they're doing work here, to just let us know so that we can always follow up. To check. We just found out Friday that that stuff was done. Yeah, so. Huh? No, you just. Like, not to even be here after, like, while they're doing it. I'm sure those people, if they just do what they do. Let me see, and it's auxiliary 5 to 6.
Should we mute? And they could probably hear us.
It's muted, right? Oh. No, it's muted. No, the light should be on. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Like to fish.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Usually I have my napkins, I forgot. So.
It may, I don't know if it's recovered everything, but that should be.
Yeah.
I was here Friday. What would, they were in the room just doing the thing here. This. Did they
We
disconnect
haven't
with something?
specifically said, but. Yeah, can you hear me?
Somebody online.
Hi, Jella, Tracy. Can you hear me? And
Yes, we can hear you.
okay, we're back. We're back.
Great. Wonderful.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Perfect.
can hear you.
Okay, we are, Ms. Matthias, and to everyone in the public, I apologize for the delay. We had technical difficulties. But we are back. We are streaming. We are recording. Ms. Matthias, you could proceed again with the public executive review session for today.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Public Review Session for May 19th, 2025. Please be reminded there's no public testimony during the review session. Please note for the record that Commissioner Otley Brown is absent from the review session and hearing, and Commissioner Sheta is attending remotely.
So before we start, I apologize for the delay we had. There was some work done in this room, so I think as part of that, there was some technical issues that arose this morning. But the good news is our website, BSA website, is it has been updated. It has some new features, and most importantly, we have updated the BSA forms. Please look at the application portal, and there you would see the new forms and updated guidelines, and where possible, samples also have been provided. In addition, our hearings can be viewed live from our website. You don't have to go to YouTube link, so you can watch it live. I want to thank the entire BSA team. They were instrumental in doing every bit of the work. We did this in-house, and OTI helped us in the technical part of it. So I really want to thank everybody for getting this through. And if there is any feedback that you would like to provide us, please do reach out to our office. Thank you.
Okay. The following cases are, for cases adjourned. 6891 BZ, Volume 4, 223-15 Union Turnpike, Queens. The following application is requested withdrawal. 2024-50 BZ, 238-15 149th Avenue, Queens.
Okay, the applicant is requesting a withdrawal because post ZHO, some of the waivers are not required and therefore can be billed as of right. So motion to withdraw?
Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application is withdrawn. Decision items, 34851 BZ, 8820 Astoria Boulevard, Queens.
Okay. We received revised plan set with all the information that we had asked the applicant to correct. Everybody had a chance to look at the revised documents?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to then make a motion to approve with the following conditions: that fencing shall be installed, maintained, and replaced as per the approved plan. Signage shall comply with C1 regulations. Hours of operation for auto repair will be from Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the air and vac machines will operate from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Builder's pavement plan shall be permitted and approved by DOT prior to restoring the curb cut and shall be built pursuant to DOT standard. Bless you.
Thank you.
HVAC noise shall not be more than 7 decibel above the ambient between 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. and dedicated rooftop buffering system shall be installed around the HVAC unit to comply with the mechanical codes.
Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
The application has been granted. Item number 4, 13292 BZ, 3948 Amboy Road, Staten Island.
No submission was required. This is for an extension of term. Approve with the conditions, and the applicant is requesting no terms. So if everybody's okay with it, I think which we discussed at the last hearing, we were all satisfied with removing the term. But I would like to make a motion to approve with a modified condition that is all fencing, landscaping, dumpsters, and enclosures shall be installed and maintained as shown on the BSA approved plan, and repairs or replaced as necessary to maintain them in good condition. The parking area shall be resurfaced as necessary and maintained in good condition. And the site shall be maintained free of debris and graffiti at all times, and no events shall be held in the parking lot. With that motion to approve?
Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application's been granted. Sorry. Next item, 15603 BZ and companion case 2715 BZ, 13535 Northern Boulevard, Queens.
Give me a second. I'm scrolling through. Sorry. Sorry, apologies. Okay, so we did receive revised plan and revised tech memo. Everybody had a chance to review it? All right, then I want to make a motion to approve the amendment with additional conditions. The applicant will perform all of the hazardous material remedial measures and the construction health and safety measures as delineated in the 2005 restrictive declaration to the satisfaction of MOER. All construction shall proceed according to the amended LPC certificate of appropriateness for the subject property. The applicant shall coordinate any future amendment to the certificate of appropriateness with LPC prior to the issuance of a building permit. The applicant shall submit a construction protection plan to LPC for interior landmark for review and approval prior to the issuance of a building permit. The proposed project will utilize an electric HVAC system and an electric water heating system. The HVAC type shall comply with applicable laws and regulations as determined by DOB and other relevant agencies. The building will incorporate window wall attenuation of 35 dBA and an alternate means of ventilation shall be provided. The project will incorporate low energy building material as required by the New York City Energy Conservation Code and Local Law 154 of 2021. And that prior to the issuance of any DOB permit for any work on the site that would result in any soil disturbance, the applicant or any successor will perform all the hazardous material remediation and construction health and safety measures as stated in the restrictive deck to the satisfaction of Mayor's Office of Remediation as successor to DEP. Okay. That no TCO or permanent certificate of occupancy shall be issued by DOB or accepted by the applicant or successor until Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation shall have issued a final notice of satisfaction or a notice of no objection indicating that the measures and conditions in the restrictive deck have been completed to the satisfaction of Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation. All construction shall proceed according to the amended LPC certificate of appropriateness for the subject property. The applicant shall coordinate any future amendments to the certificate of occupancy with LPC prior to the issuance of the building permit. I think I'm repeating myself here. The applicant shall submit a construction protection plan to LPC for interior landmark for review and approval. The applicant shall notify DOT 6 months prior to the opening of the proposed project so that they can investigate the feasibility of implementing the proposed implementation measures identified for the instruction of Northern Boulevard with Farrington Street, Main Street, and Union Street. And that prior to the start of the demolition work at the site, the applicant shall obtain all necessary sign-off from the fire department, including sign-off for the installation and restoration of the appropriate wet and dry standpipe system. And that all conditions that have been imposed by FAA in the determination of no hazard shall be followed. And any increase in dwelling unit, FAR, building height, or major changes in the use will be considered a new BSA application henceforth, and a new BSA guideline shall be applied. Is that acceptable to everybody? Okay. Motion to approve.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shibata,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 2018-172BZ, Volume 2, 4609 and 4619 31st Avenue, Queens.
We received a letter of support from Councilmember Caban. So this is for an extension of time. I want to make a motion to approve for a 4-year extension of time to complete construction and obtain a CO.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shibata,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 2019-7BZ, Volume 2, 3341 Country Club Road, The Bronx.
Also, in this case, submission was not required. This is an extension of time. Make a motion to grant for a 4 years extension of time.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 2024-01A, 2848 Farber Terrace, Queens.
Okay, we received a revised set of site plan last week. And this is in response to the comments that we received from received comments from Parks Department because of the site abutting part of the parkland. I just would say that this is new for Parks Department to review GCL case. So some of the comments that Parks Department has made would be more in keeping with what the applicant would be responding to post BSA approval. However, there were some comments that Parks required that at a minimum, the sidewalk width be 5 foot wide, even at pinch points. So accordingly, the applicant has revised the plan. I just would say that board is not weighing in on any of the elimination of the requirements. And when Parks does review it for the street tree and other evaluation for the builder's pavement plan, DOT will be reviewing the minimum required width of sidewalk shall be provided as required by any of the agencies that will be reviewing it. So with that, I want to make a motion to approve the GCL 35 case with following conditions. And that is, board is not waiving any flood regulations. Proposed development shall comply with all the underlying zoning regulations, building code, fire code regulations. The sewer corridor, as indicated on the plan, shall be unobstructed. No permanent structure, including stairs, patios, ramps, shall be permitted. Board will not be weighing in on the minimum requirements of the street tree pits or the location, or that other than that a minimum 5 foot wide sidewalk must be maintained along Faber Avenue. Applicant shall work with Parks, DOT, DEP, DOB in finalizing the builder's pavement plan and construct per DOT standard prior to obtaining a TCO, and with DEP regarding the amended drainage plan prior to obtaining a TCO. With that, motion to approve.
Chair
Yeah.
Shonda,
Sorry, go ahead.
Just a clarification, when you said no permanent structure, including stairs, ramps are permitted, you mean within the sewer corridor, right?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
motion to approve. Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application's been granted. 2024-43A, 42 Joanne Court, Staten Island. Do you want to do these separately together?
Separately.
Okay.
So make a motion to approve with conditions that prior to obtaining a TCO, applicant shall amend the drainage plan and have it approved by DEP.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 2024-44A, 62 Joanne Court, Staten Island.
Also, motion to approve with the condition that prior to obtaining a TCO, applicant shall amend the drainage plan and approve and have it approved by DEP.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. 2024-31BZ, 166 North 12th Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, we received revised plan and statement of facts, and all documents are in order. First, I'll read out the environmental conditions. An E designation has been placed on the zoning map pursuant to section 11-15 of the zoning resolution for the subject property. Further, hazardous noise assessment shall be coordinated through mayor's office of, further hazardous assessment shall be coordinated with Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation. Yeah. With regards to noise, exterior wall and window along the southern facade of the third and the fourth floor, and the northern facade of the fifth floor shall provide a minimum composite window wall attenuation of 28 dBA. And to maintain this acceptable interior noise level of 45 dBA with a closed window condition and alternate means of ventilation will be provided. The third floor terrace, a minimum of 10-foot high acoustic barrier shall be provided at the western boundary of the third floor terrace, and the acoustic fencing shall be flush mounted to the terrace floor and constructed with no air gaps to ensure acoustical performance. And it shall be installed to provide a 32 dBA day-night level reduction as indicated in the proposed plan. The fifth floor terrace, a minimum 4-foot high acoustical barrier mounted to the top of the 4-foot high 13-inch thick parapet wall shall be provided at the western edge of the fifth floor. And the applicant shall install a noise barrier which will have an equivalent sound transmission rating, STC rating of 30 dBA, as indicated on the plan. So with that, I want to make a motion to approve with additional condition that a minimum 10-foot high acoustical barrier flush mounted shall be provided on the third floor terrace, providing a 32 dBA noise attenuation. No noise amplification device shall be added in the outdoor area. All exterior lighting shall be directed away from residences. Lighting shall not exceed building code mandated minimum. And the building mechanical system, that is the HVAC system, will be designed to meet all the applicable noise regulations and requirements, including subchapter 524-227 of the New York City Noise Control Code and New York City Department of Building Code.
The motion to approve, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Next item, compliance hearing, 8599 BZ Volume 4. This is 11106 Metcalf Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay. While this application has been before us since 1923, of late, the board has heard it as recently as last year, right? Last year. And just to back up, back in 2020, board had granted, and at that granted an extension. And at that time, the board had observed that the operators were not maintaining the site, and there were certain uses that were being provided on the site that was contrary to the board's grant. So at that time, the board had granted a 2-year extension of term, which expired on May 30, 2022, with the condition that a CO be obtained within 1.5 years by May 30, 2022. The short term at that time was granted to ensure that the site would be in compliance. And apart from obtaining a CO based on the photos submitted, at that time, the site seemed to be in compliance. So in May of 2022, an application for an extension of term was submitted to the board, and at the initial hearing was held in December of 2023, followed by 3 continued hearings. Then during the review process, site visits were made by a commissioner, and it revealed that there were vehicles other than vehicles awaiting services were parked on the site, and the refuse was stored outside of the designated refuse container. And at that time, board expressed concern about the treatment of the site and had suggested blocking of areas of the site adjacent to the residential use from being used in a manner that was not part of the board's grant, that was inconsistent with board's grant. So let's just put it this way, the board at that time remained concerned about the operation And at the July 29, 2024 hearing, board approved an extension of term for a very short term, a 3-year term, which would be expiring on July 29, 2027, with the following conditions in response to what the board has been observing at this site since 2020. That there shall be no vehicles parked on the site other than those awaiting services and patronizing the convenience store. There shall be no vehicles on the sidewalks at any times. Vehicles parked on the sidewalk shall be towed at owner's expense. Side yards shall not be used for the storage of any material at any time for any duration. The premise shall be, there are other conditions, but I'm picking up the conditions that we saw again are being blatantly being misused. The site shall be maintained free of debris at all times. Dumpsters shall be kept in an enclosure at all times. Minimum 4 times weekly. Trash pickup shall occur. No storage of chemical drums shall be permitted on the site. A certificate of occupancy, as indicated in this approved plan, shall be obtained within 6 months. That is by January 29, 2025. In April, Commissioner Otley Brown saw the egregious use of the site, which violated these conditions of the board that was placed back in July of 2024, when the board made its decision to grant a 3 years extension. The same food truck that was observed back in 2024 was identified as violating the board's grant by using. Back in 2024, it was seen on the site, it was seen next to the, then it was, photos were provided which showed that the truck was parked by the site, by the curbside, but it's the same truck that is now parked on the site and it is doing a brisk food catering business from the site. That's not what the grant was about. Similarly, a flat tire truck with tires on display was also stationed on the site and was conducting a business operation on the city street. So the last time a CO was obtained for this site was back in 1984. No CO has been obtained since then, and the property owner has been notified and I believe has reached out to our office.
From my understanding from the executive director.
Yeah.
The property owner.
Since there's been such a blatant disregard of board's grant and misuse of the site, the photos that have been submitted, it shows overspilling of garbage from the trash storage area. There are 2 business operations that are happening from the site, which are contrary to the board's grant. And it's a complete violation of the board's grant. So
There's also a violation from the ECB.
there's a violation also from ECB. Great. And what is the ECB violation?
I will pull it up because I
It's-
think it's relevant. to this
It's
discussion.
2024. It says it's operating contrary to the Board of Standards and Appeals resolution. I believe that's what it said.
Yeah, so failed to comply with BSA calendar number 85-99-BZ, observed 2 unregistered passenger automobiles and 1 food truck were observed parked adjacent to residential properties. The northeast corner of the property was, and it goes on. There was a hearing scheduled for February 21st of this year, and it's the status in default. So
And
Yeah.
when was this violation issued?
this was
2024 when?
issued in 2024, December 6th of
Yes,
2024.
and Madam Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. This would have been prior to us becoming aware that they were not in compliance.
Right. And so, and this was after we granted the 3 years extension time. and
Yes.
This happened and then Commissioner Otley Brown observed it during one of her, on her way. So
Yes,
this,
this was, I believe, a couple of months prior to us, again, just witnessing it.
so I think I'm kind of at this point of the mind that we shouldn't even extend this grant, we should terminate it, but give the property owner, who I believe is leasing the property to the current operator, an opportunity to speak. And but I, at this point, have no faith in the current operator or their ability to improve the site. And the fact that we have not had a CO on this site since 1984 also shows that the property owner has been very negligent of his responsibility towards the site. Okay, so we will wait to hear at the review session. Did anybody have a chance to go on a site visit? If you did?
I did not, but I'm looking at the cyclomedia, which I'm going to share because they have recent. This is March 14th, 2025. So photos from pretty recently. There's a car wash operating out of the back of this car. There's obviously cars parked all over the sidewalk. in
And there's a
addition to
food
some
truck.
Food trucks, additional signage for
Oh,
tires.
this is a new food truck.
And there's another
already-
one over
the-
here.
Wow.
So, it does seem like,
And there are cars parked on the sidewalk.
yeah.
So,
When you go back to August, there are no food trucks. This is more recently, this is a month after we had closed or decided on the case. So, there were no
if you
food trucks.
turn
the month-
around, if you turn around the cyclomedia, is that truck there in the neighborhood?
No.
I
Because I
didn't,
remember Commissioner Otley Brown had a photo which shows the truck parked by the side. But anyway, I
in
think,
any case, I looked because it was right after the hearing, after the decision was made, but then very soon after, within a few months, it
Right.
seems like, business was
back to normal.
back to status quo.
Yeah. So everybody played nice during the hearing and then and went back to doing business as usual. That's not acceptable. That's not what this grant is. It is a privilege that has been offered to this property owner to have a commercial use in a zoning district where it's not permitted. And it had, though it historically it has been there, it does not stop the board from denying the grant if it has been misused. And it has been misused for a very long period of time, since 2020. And may have been even before, but I personally can speak from 2020 because I was on the board at that time. Thank you, everybody.
Continued hearing on special order calendar, 5/32/32 BZ, 3102 Astoria Boulevard, Queens.
Hmm. I'm not able to open the.
Yeah, I don't have anything left. Most of my file, it's all blank now.
Yeah. Boy. All right, we did receive a community board vote, and community board voted to approve this application. Though community board did not state it as a condition, but requested that a term of the variance for a periodic review of the station's operation and maintenance and to assess any effect on the pedestrian and traffic flow be allowed. And community board in its letter stated the same concern as the board had raised at the initial hearing. So following our initial hearing, the applicant made its submission to address the comments that were raised and is proposing to revise the plan, though there is no proposed change to the number of MPDs. It still is proposing 3 MPDs, and in return is proposing to reduce the total floor area of the facility to just have a space for a trash enclosure, convenience store, and for for exchange. I guess for the gasoline service. So, and the applicant is going to provide 3 parking spaces. Upon review of the application and this information that's been provided, I feel that the site is too small for 3 MPDs. There is really not enough space for 3 MPDs to be there and for it to be all served from 31st Street, which is a very busy street, and it is encumbered by the existence of an elevated train line structure. So the limitation, there is limitation to accessing the site. And then to maneuver through the site to exit to Astoria also becomes very limited by the building footprint. And by having 3 MPDs and having so many moving lanes, it just makes the site even more complicated. So I don't think the proposed layout addresses the maneuverability issue. There are critical pinch points at the site that will result in conflict with pedestrians and vehicular movements. For example, the 10-foot 7-inch distance between the two, the second MPD from the left and the convenience store is inadequate. At a minimum, board will always require, and that needs to be shown in this case also, a 4-foot wide pedestrian walkway and ADA access way that needs to be striped from the parking space up to the payment window and to access the convenience store. Now, once that 4-foot wide pedestrian walkway is provided, there also, because of the narrow width of the site, to protect the pedestrians from being in harm's way of the vehicles that would be turning through these MPDs, board always requires barriers. And it would, in this case, board would ask for bollards that are permanent and not the temporary plastic ones, to ensure that any vehicular maneuverability will not be in the way of the pedestrian way corridor. So once you place all of those layers of safety measures, there is no possibility of a vehicle being able to make that left turn from the second MPD to exit onto Astoria Boulevard. The alternate will be that somebody will back out, will reverse onto the sidewalk of 31st, and then figure out a way to either go back onto 31st or to continue on Astoria. That is that is something that is happening as it is. So I don't think a third MPD resolves the issue and redesign resolves the issue. I do not believe this is a site where a third MPD works. This is an extremely tight site, and the reduction of the space, yes, does allow for additional maneuverability, but not enough to allow for protection between the pedestrian and the vehicles. So that's my concern. I do not think this should go any further. I don't want to go through many iterations of it and to keep seeing various layouts of 3 MPDs, because I genuinely don't believe this is going to work unless you're going to remove the convenience store and just have 3 MPDs, which is going to be further in and it's going to allow for it. With the convenience store and 3 MPDs, it's not going to work. Regarding the lumen spread, applicant needs to show the outdoor light source, and not sure if the spread along the residential lot line, because it's showing 10-foot candle, and I don't think it needs to be that high. It needs to be 2-foot candle at the property line. I have a general question. In this proposed submission, the applicant is also going to replace the underground storage tank, and it's going to be replaced with 2 large 12-gallon USTs and 1 6,000-gallon UST. Now, given its proximity to an elevated subway structure, this is a general, more of an academic question. Will it require any additional MTA New York City Transit review? Because it would require disturbance of the site below grade, and I believe there is a line of Commissioner Shetter, remind me the term that MTA uses.
Line of influence.
Huh?
Line of influence.
Right, line of influence.
Yeah.
So I do not know if that would require an MTA transit review. So
If they're gonna perform any excavation, and of course they're gonna do that within, I believe, 150 feet of an MTA structure, they need to get in touch with MTA and submit, and MTA need to review and approve.
Okay, so in this case, it would be well within that time frame, and therefore it within that 150.
Distance, yes.
So they would need to. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. As you know, we had computer difficulties this morning and seem to have lost most of my lineup. But I do remember many things about this case, and you certainly jogged my memory. But I want to talk a little bit, just a moment, about their diagram of the cars and the 3 different pump stations. And if you follow that to the next visual, you see a gas truck going on to the lot. I noticed that there would have to be no cars on the lot for the gas truck to actually make it on, because it cannot get through 1 and 2 if either 1 or 2 has a car on it. So let aside that the very difficult maneuvering that, you know, we want to hope that everyone will be capable of. I just don't think that there's enough space, but it's not practical in just in what would be everyday business when you're getting, you know, refueled. That it just doesn't create for a practical situation. They would have to close off, you know, they'd have to know before the truck is coming. It'd be virtually like just impractical. So I second your notion that this design needs to go.
Also, based on the diagram here, it seems the truck would, at no point would be able to be within the site. It would require the size of it and the location of it would end up blocking some of the sidewalk.
It's the only way it could.
So, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
1 second. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I agree with you that the site, it's not only the site is very tight, but also that the area around the site is very crowded. Driving there is nightmare. I used to live in like few minutes walking from where the site is. It's a very tough location. So I would agree with you that yes, 3 MPDs is an overkill. Especially there are like plenty of gas stations around, so there is no need to like use 3 and like make issues around traffic issues and maneuverability issues. On the other hand, yes, I'm looking at the picture and the location and the distance, and apparently they would need to like get in touch and get approval from MTA, not just for the USTs, but also for the construction of the building. They're gonna do some excavations, and these excavations are within the distance that MTA require review, and they're gonna need to submit and get review from get approval from them. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
I shared the same concerns about maneuverability. I think when showing the truck flow diagram, I don't even think the truck can make the turns as shown. I think it's all, it would need to actually show an auto turn analysis that accurately shows how a truck will turn on this site. Also I'm gonna just share it again. The truck is there. I would like some understanding of how far a truck can be from the actual tanks, because I believe that's the destination for the truck, is to fill up the tanks. And the one to the right seems quite far from where the truck is proposed. So I imagine the truck would actually park much closer to these tanks and fill up, which would then of
Good
course
point.
encroach on the sidewalk. But I don't think this turn here is feasible. That doesn't look realistic. So I don't know if there's an alternate version where instead of demolishing the Tint Max building, you demolish the existing repair shop, and there's another way to enhance maneuverability, but this does not seem to work.
What if they eliminated diesel fueling here? Because that's diesel, right, for the truck?
Doesn't matter. I think
Doesn't
for
matter.
both
No,
of
that's
them.
both.
Take the
For both.
MPD out? No? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I-
So, yeah, that's a good point. Location of the proposed UST and where the truck will be parked.
ultimately, it's just a concern about blocking the sidewalk,
Yeah.
which,
I mean, you literally have to close the entire operation for that to happen.
yeah.
Next? Yeah. Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Item number 14, 32853 BZ, 3424 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay. So we did receive affidavit from the operator of the gasoline service facility at the subject site and a signed agreement with U-Haul confirming termination of the business agreement as of 4/8/2025. And the operator affirms that the site will not be used for U-Haul parking or any other commercial vehicles and that are not awaiting repair. And there will be no sales of vehicles from the subject site. So I think those are all satisfactory response. The board wanted to hear and make sure and will operate that way. Any question? Vice Chair Shibata.
I'm satisfied with this application. As you said, the U-Haul did submit a letter and said that they took it in their own hands to ensure that it'll be removed, that this site will be removed from the website on that date. So I feel like that they have appealed appropriately to the appropriate sources and done everything they can do to put the board at ease. I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. I agree that the affidavit, I thank them for changing the language, first of all, of the affidavit. It's now much better. But I still like wanna or suggest to add a condition to avoid another Metcalf case here. I would suggest to add a condition that violating the grant conditions or the BSA conditions would like void the grant. So they need to be careful about like playing games. If I've seen like people before we grant them and then they play with the rules during the grant like session, and after that they switch back business as usual. So I would add that condition that if you switch back to business as usual and violate, it's gonna be a cost for that, and the cost is very expensive.
Commissioner
And
Shetta,
it's
that
up to the board.
Commissioner, that is the standard language that is in our all resolutions, but we can be more.
It's in the zoning resolution.
And it's also in the zoning resolution, that's true, yeah. The grant, but we can again emphasize that. And I think should the board proceed, the operator's agreement should be made part of our condition. And the board's resolution should also refer to the latest affidavit that has been signed by the operator and U-Haul for the record. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I have no further comments.
Thanks.
New cases, item number 15, 595 44 BZ, volume 4, 30 Central Park, South Manhattan.
Okay, we received proof of initial filing and hearing note. Community board waived its waive to review this application. This is an application for an extension of term for 10 years of a previously approved use variance, which will be expiring in July of 2025. I think the last hearing that was held in 2016, one of the conditions was that the CO be obtained by March 2017, and a temporary TCO has been obtained, but that expired in 2020. But since then, there has been no further action on this. There has been no change in the use, and the applicant is not proposing any change. The use has been continuing, though no photos have been provided. This is being such a prominent location. We go by it often. There are lots of photos on the Google Street View that shows that the operation is there. And if you Google any of the business operations, there have been there for a while. Applicant is seeking, applicant has also provided a compliance chart, though it was not a complete one because, like I said, one of the conditions of prior board conditions were not mentioned, and also the fact that a CO be obtained within the time frame. My question to the applicant is, what is the reason for not being able to obtain a CO? And there is a DOB violation, which is regarding boiler inspection, but that's really my primary question. Vice Chair Shibata.
I have no comments on this application.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. The only thing I have is that if you look at the statement of facts under violations, it says there are 4 active violations, and then between parentheses, it's number 2. So 4 or 2, I'm not sure. They need to like fix that. It's inconsistent.
Okay. Maybe since the time it was written, number of violations have been reduced, so the applicant can provide an update.
I believe it might be a typo, just because if you look at the spelled out, it says 4 FOUR, and
Okay.
then number 2. So I believe it's just a typo, but
Okay.
they can clarify.
Great. Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
I have no further comments.
Okay, next item, 82755 BZ, 24520 139th Avenue.
This is an extension of time, and we don't need a hearing notice or as part of the extension of time, the applicant is requesting it to obtain CO of a previously approved variance that permits an automotive service station, and it expired in March of 16 of 2024, and the applicant is also requesting a waiver of board's rule. Applicant is proposing a 20-month extension of time, and the reason for delay has been stated clearly. I think because of the reorg, this matter got overlooked. And I just have a question. So the applicant outlined a lot of steps for a no-alt, and I don't know if all of those are necessary, but anyway, the applicant is requesting a 20 month, which is a 2-year extension of term. I have no other comments on it. There aren't any open violations. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. So I noticed that in pursuant to Google Photos, in October of the most recent photo is 1 second. In October of 2024, there were cars spilling onto the sidewalk. There were vehicles that had open hoods, suggesting that work was being done outside of the mechanic bay. And I noticed by the photos that they provided to us recently, those photos show that at least in good effort to avoid the condition of having parks on the sidewalk, they must have put in bollards.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah, this is the older photos. This is not the photos that they provided us with. They provided us these, which show bollards moving into the site so that cars could not park on the sidewalk. I'm unaware if the bollards were there at that time in October because I couldn't get a good angle. But at least the site shows, the photos provided show compliance. I ask that the applicant continue with that compliance.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I believe that what they are requesting is not 20 month. I believe it's 18 month. If you look at the first paragraph in the statement of facts, the final sentence, it says the project was not completed and an additional 18 months is requested. That's what I saw in the statement of facts. In addition, I haven't seen any info about the subject site. No lot number, there is no block number. That there is nothing about the site, and I have raised this comment before on other sites for the same applicant. Hopefully, they can fix that.
I think they did provide.
Vision submitted.
A revision was submitted
Oh,
because I didn't see the information.
the one I have is February 13, 2025.
There's one from May 13th. That's
Oh, maybe I
outside.
didn't see that. So maybe if it includes the information I just mentioned, I'm fine then. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
I have no comments.
Item number 17, 76456 BZ, Volume 4, Volume 5, sorry. 200-05 Horace Harding Expressway, Queens.
Okay, we received proof of initial filing and notices. Community board has voted to approve with following conditions: that the site must be kept clean, landscape must be maintained, tires to be stored in an enclosure, graffiti to be removed, dumpsters is to be maintained, and any lighting should be directed away from nearby homes. This is an application for an extension of term for a 10-year period of a previously approved variance that was that permitted on an operation of an automotive repair station, which expired in October 2022, and a waiver of board's rule. Applicant, as part of the proof of continuous use, did provide business license that were issued in 2023 to the Bayside Service Station, and photos from 2024, which I think is sufficient to show the proof of continuity, and the fact that they also have a DOB permit for the alteration of the building structure, which the board had granted in when was it? 2022. Also, a compliance chart has been provided, so I really don't have any other questions. The site, based on the photos that's been provided, the site seems to be in very good condition, and there aren't any open violations. Now, prior board condition was that a CO be obtained by June 30th of 2025. I just want to make sure we're on May 19th. Would 1 month be adequate to get the necessary sign off? And though I would say this application was filed in December, due to some delay in serving the community board, the hearing schedule got delayed to this month. So in the interest of time, I would recommend that the board put a new condition that CO be obtained by November of 2025, with a warning on the record that if he fails to obtain a certificate of occupancy, then the applicant will need to file for an extension of time. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. This site seemed like a very clean site, and reviewing the Google photos and to further support that they have been the site has been in continuous use. I could see that through the Google photos, but it also shows how well the site is being maintained. So I'm satisfied with this application and have no comments to make.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you. I have no further comments.
Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. This is an extension of term,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just one amendment where they're no longer selling used cars here. And I
Yes.
just wanted to,
Yeah.
make sure that was
Thank you.
clear.
Yes.
It's okay here because the signage proposed is pretty minimal, but in the future, please provide signage analysis per frontage and not lumping them all together on one form. Those were my only comments.
Silent analysis by each frontage.
I don't think they need to submit it here, but just a note to the applicant to do it per frontage on future application.
Oh, okay. New, continuation of new cases, 30879 VZ, Volume 4, 43 Clark Street, Brooklyn.
This is also an extension of time. Applicant is seeking a 2 years extension to allow a new operator for a previously approved variance for a health and fitness establishment which will expire in July of 2025. This was a variance case because it was not a PC case through the special permit. It was a variance case to allow for a use variance for this operation to be located at this site. So I would, the applicant is requesting a 2 years term, and I was looking at my notes from 2023, and it provided, there were information about work status. So what I wanted to know, what are the outstanding elements of the work regarding the health and fitness establishment, and there are open violations, DOB, both DOB and ECB, and I do not know if they're related to the building or to the health and fitness facility. It's a very large residential complex also. So, I would like the applicant to clarify that at the hearing. Vice Chair Shibeta.
No further comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. There is an inconsistency between the first paragraph and the statement of facts, where it described the requested amendment as only changing the operator. That's what it says. And then last paragraph on page 2, it described the amendment as revising the layout and change to the operator. So please make it consistent. And then I believe they need to elaborate on the proposed changes to the layout and highlight them on the plan. That's all what I have. Thank you.
Why do you think they need to elaborate the proposed change? If these are all interior partitions and layouts, why do we need to know that? We just are giving them a volume of a PCE space with specific, I think they have like a swimming pool, they have some specific things, but if there are other like spaces being moved around, why should we be asking for that?
I thought because they are one of the requested items or the requested amendments, we should like be made aware of what kind of changes they are proposing. That's all. But if we don't have control on that, and it's up to them, I'm fine with it the way you submit it.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. Just a note on that. It does seem like the layout has changed very significantly from the prior approval, but not the outer bounds of the space. Internally, it was a bunch of squash courts before. Now it's 2 stacked tennis courts. It's quite a different internal layout.
Okay.
Another change, and I didn't have any specific questions about the details of those layouts, but one layout question I had is that there's a new egress, I think out to Pineapple Street. And it's taking advantage of an existing door, but if you can confirm whether that egress is for emergency use only, or if that's actually meant to be an entrance in and out for the health and fitness establishment, because then that would be a new entrance.
Okay.
There's a reference to the overall gross floor area of the gym being reduced, with floor area being returned back to the co-op for accessory residential use. I didn't see any discrepancy between the existing and the proposed gym floor area, and so I'm not sure how to quantify what that value is and where that's happening. So if you could clarify that. And then photos were provided, but I couldn't see where the main entry, which is on Clark Street. I didn't see any photos of that. So if you could provide some photos specifically of the entrance on Clark Street.
Okay. So it's becoming all squash courts?
No, formally, the prior approval had a series of squash courts. This new application, that was a really generalized summary, but there's less squash courts, 2 full tennis courts, the spa's in a different location. Everything has been flopped around. So it's a different layout, a totally different health and fitness establishment. But again, for our purposes, I just want the clarification on the overall gross floor area changes, the quantity and the location, and the more description of the egress and how it's going to be used that exits onto Pineapple.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Yes.
13984 BZ, Volume 2, 1887 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island.
We received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. I though do not have a community board vote on this case.
Oh, I sent you.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no community board vote, but they're meeting
they're meeting,
tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
I think that one's a meeting tomorrow.
oh, they're
Yeah.
meeting tomorrow.
They're meeting tomorrow.
Oh, Wednesday. Thank you.
Wednesday,
Oh.
one of those days,
One
yeah.
of those,
20th, okay.
It's
No,
not that
21st, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. This is an amendment to board's conditions and waivers of board's rule of a previously approved special permit to allow a commercial accessory parking to extend beyond the permitted zoning district, which expired back in January of 2000. This is an L-shaped site, and the last CO was obtained was in May of 2000. Applicant needs to provide a proof of continuous use and also needs to provide a compliance chart. The hours of operation, the gates to the parking lot to be closed no later than 7 p.m. That's what I seem to have read somewhere. So, and it is used by employee and customers. What to me is not clear, is there a sign that says that it will be closed after that? Now, the statement also says there's a 6-foot high fence. I want the applicant to confirm the height of the chain link fence along the Westcott Boulevard on the plan, and has the chain link fence along the rear and the sight line being replaced with a wall and a PVC fence, because that's what I'm seeing on the from the photos. With regards to the signage, the applicant needs to remove the graffiti from the sign that's posted on the gate. Landscaping, it is in need of sprucing. There are gaps in the planting bed and between the plants, there are gaps between the plants, and those need to be refilled. Overall, the sites seem to be in decent condition. There is no open violation. Is there any update that I need on environmental status on this, Ms. Benke?
They are missing a type 2 form. I did not see one in the file.
Okay, so that needs to be provided.
Yes.
Okay.
Just on the community board, the community board invited them to a land use meeting on June 3rd.
Okay.
June 3rd.
June
I just went back to
3rd
check my
community
email.
board meeting. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, everybody. Vice Chair Shibata.
I have no further comments on this one.
Commissioner Sheta?
Good Chair, I second your comments, and in addition to that, I believe they need to provide site description, the statement of fact. The statement of fact is very, very brief. And they need to include the lot and the block numbers in there, describe the history of the application, whether when it was granted, extended, and amended, and discuss compliance or provide a compliance chart like you indicated. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
I had the same comments as Commissioner Sheta. I need more board history describing each grant and the block and the lot. But then also I had a question about the district boundary where the commercial overlay ends. There's reference in the statement of facts that it's 29 feet. That is in the R31 district. The drawings seem to show 28.99 feet or 29.7 feet, but then what I realized is that the drawings are showing, and I'm gonna pull it up, the drawings are showing it being measured, it being the commercial overlay, being measured from the street widening line. And so I just wanted to go over this. I'll pull everything up in just a second. I need to download that so it doesn't do that. Okay. All right, so let me share my screen. So this is the existing condition plan, and then I'm going to hide that so I can see. Okay, where's the? Okay, so the widening line is here. Sorry about the notes showing up. And then the commercial overlay district boundary is 100 feet
Mhm.
here. And then when you look at the measurement, it's 28.99 feet here.
Mhm.
So the 100-foot distance, I believe, is measured from the widening line to this district boundary, 100 feet. On the radius map, oh, and one thing I want to point out is note the location of where the L is.
Mhm.
So on the radius map, it looks a little bit different.
Mhm.
And the widening line looks, I'm sorry, not the widening line. The district boundary for the commercial overlay seems to be coincident with the L of this shape.
Mhm.
And then when you look at the tax map, well, that doesn't show the district boundary, but it does show the widening line.
Mhm.
And then you look at the zoning map and it's also difficult to tell because it doesn't indicate if that 100 feet is measured from the widening line or from the current street line. And so I don't think this substantively changes the ask in any way, but I would like to understand how we measure this from whether it's from the widening line or from the actual street line, and then the resulting dimension that is in the R31 district.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's generally measured from the zoning lot. So it's in the zoning resolution section, how overlays are measured, and I think it's from the lot line. That's what I seem to remember. So that it almost therefore says you could have a street widening line that is encroaching on a zoning lot. But the measurement, typically the zoning lot should be away from the map street line. So that's why all the measurements are measured from the zoning lot line.
Right. Which would
In this,
change the description of this grant because it's 150, let's say 155 feet.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
So the description of it is that part of the store and the parking lot would end up being in the
Yes.
R31. And so we would just, going forward, it would be good to correct that.
Correct
So we know that,
Right.
and that the site, that's all acknowledged going forward for the applicant.
So since 85, this has been reviewed and this is the first time that issue has been picked up. But it's a good pickup.
Well, I was wondering if I had assumed we would also measure it from the zoning lot line, but that's where we'll get, I guess, confirmation that it is
Right.
indeed from, the zoning lot line and not the widening line.
Right, it is from the zoning lot lines. If it's from the zoning lot line, the portion of the L that is fronting on Victory Boulevard, I think that portion is, 154 foot from Victory Boulevard? That length is
And
154
change, yeah.
or
I'll
something?
pull it up again, but it's 154.86
Yeah.
feet, that length.
You're right. So at least from that zoning lot line, so that's why if you look at the tax lot, it would be 100 feet.
Yeah,
That's, so it,
you're looking at something that's more like here
yeah,
to here.
right.
And then this is the
And
section
then the
that would
remaining
be
portion, exactly.
in the, and I don't, obviously that's not accurate. I don't know if the building ends up within the 100, like entirely within the 100 feet or not. So that would be for the
Yeah.
applicant to confirm.
Good catch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We done? Okay.
No, 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 no.
No, I mean, are you
This is-
finished?
Hold on. I'm getting this restart tonight.
Oh, that happened to me during the meeting the other day, restarting.
Okay,
God.
no, okay, go ahead, sorry. Did everybody respond?
Okay, can we move on?
Yes, please.
Okay, new cases zoning calendar 2025-02BZ, 3660 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay, we received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. Community board, I this is the Housing Committee and the Executive Board of Community Board 11, of 10
Right.
unanimously supports this project, though we did receive one letter of opposition, and it is, the issues raised are with regards to traffic. So this is a special permit application pursuant to section 73-311 to permit the existing accessory drive-through facility operating in conjunction with an as-of-right eating and drinking establishment. It was last approved by the board back in 2018. So as I mentioned, this is an existing drive-through facility that board has granted since 2018 under the prior pre-ZHO zoning resolution section 73-243. Just a couple of housekeeping. The zoning analysis chart and the statement of fact are incorrect with regards to the floor area. Applicant needs to clarify on the plan the existing and the proposed width of the three curb cuts. So going through the findings of zoning resolution section 73-311 with regards to finding A, as per prior board grant, 10 reservoir spaces are provided, and these are based on sedans. Now, we do know that increasingly more SUVs are being used, so the applicant needs to show a 10-space reservoir with use of an SUV, so the dimensions will be a little bit more. The intent is to make sure that these 10 such large vehicles, SUVs, which are typical passenger vehicles of choice these days, can be accommodated within the site and will not spill over onto the sidewalk. With regards to finding B, again, keeping the same theme of A, applicant needs to add a note to the plan that under no circumstances that motor vehicles shall queue up to block any spillback onto Phillips Avenue, including blockage of the sidewalk because of the and that could result in operational and safety concerns. And if the condition fails and it is not being met, then when the facility is in operation, board in consultation with DOT and DOB can take action to revoke the approval for this accessory drive-through or the curb. As stated earlier, the width of the curb cuts are not clear, especially the exit curb from the accessory drive-through. Since only one lane of vehicle will be exiting from this drive-through pickup lane, it is not clear why the access way is 23 foot wide as shown on the plan. So to minimize any conflict with pedestrian access way and entrance, and exit to the eating and drinking establishment, which is located exactly at that corner where the drive-through vehicles will be exiting from the drive-through. Applicant should provide a raised curb instead of a striped area as shown on the plan. This can further provide a physical separation and align the vehicles to move out of and away from the entrance and exit from the building and provide a separation between pedestrian and vehicles. There's a case that we are going to hear tomorrow, and that particular case used this this feature, I believe, very successfully. And I will ask the applicant, our project manager, to share that as an example. I think it's a very simple measure and it can work. It is better than striping it, because striping means you have to physically stripe it again and people may not even be following it. They may just drive right over it. So with regards to finding C, both street frontages have active retail commercial use, and there has been no change to this context. With regards to finding D, a 6-foot high PVC and sound barrier wall with 8-foot high planting is what was required at the last hearing. Now, interior site photos that were provided with the plants, with the plans, while it does seem to indicate there is some kind of a barrier, but it's very difficult to understand the material because it seems there are different materials that are being used along the side and the rear wall conditions. So please provide an updated one, and based on that, if the plans need to be revised, please do so. On the site plan, indicate different fence treatments along all the lot line. Along the frontage, you have the low-rise metal fence, and in the rear, you have these combinations of PVC and wall fences, and also somewhere I saw a chain link fence. Also regarding the air quality, applicant needs to provide more clarity in its narrative and has to go through this assessment. I guess that would be picked up also in the technical document. With regards to finding E, based on the photos provided, there are gaps in the landscaping, especially along the rear and the front lot line. So the applicant needs to fill that up. This is a perfect season for that work to happen. Please look into that. Ms. Benke, is there any update on the environmental?
They did provide a revised EAS on April 21st, and it appears to address all the comments I had.
Okay. And it responds to also that air quality thing?
Yes, there was an air quality section.
So then the applicant can incorporate those comments from the EAS and into the findings.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I just want a statement from the applicant that the current signage is what is presented in the photos. Because from earlier photographs or images, I've seen there are several other banners around the site. Now, in the pictures, we can't, I don't see those same banners. In the pictures that were provided to us, I don't see those same banners. But at one or two angles, a car is blocking where a banner was. So I just want like an affirmation that the sign analysis is accurate, and I have nothing further to add to your comments.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. My first comment is they need to redraw the noise section to make it to scale. Second, they need to provide us with the lumen spread, similar to what was provided in the previous submission. The previously approved plans include a lumen spread. The proposed or the current plan doesn't include that. So they need to include it. I don't think the fence, especially, I'm talking about the fence next to the residential. Let me, I may need to share my screen. Do you see my screen?
No, yeah.
One sec. How about now?
Nope.
Just give it a second. Yeah, now we do.
We're all
Okay.
having computer days.
This is today been a.
I don't know what's wrong with the computers today. Yeah, but this is the section that I said they need to draw to scale. It says this is 3 feet and this is 4.8, and this distance is like twice as this, so it can be to scale. So they need to redraw it to scale. Then if I move to the legend and compare it to the plan, they are inconsistent. If you look at this color, according to that plan, this is that color. It can be the strongest, can be here. I believe this color, that the one that's the cursor is
Orange.
yeah, the orange one should be switched to the yellow, which is which like donates that 54 decibels range. So I believe they need to fix that. And if you look at the section is taken next to the building. That the noise section is taken. If you look at this, it says adjacent building. So meaning that the section is taken here as indicated. But I don't think this is the critical spot to show the section. The critical is here. Here. Not here, because at this location, they hit that plain wall of the building. The building ends actually, let me zoom, the building ends right here at this spot, apparently. So if you look at this location for the section, includes the building, and it's not the critical, because whatever the noise is gonna be like blocked by the plain wall. But if you look at this spot here, this is where the yard is. And this is where the critical section should be shown. And like I said, they need to change the color, the orange to yellow, and they need to add a note that the AVC will be on. And I need a clarification from them whether this 73 sound level is based on AVC on, or this is the maximum output of the speaker at the menu board. Let me see if I have something else. And they need to give us some interior photos as well. I looked at the interior photos on the plans, but they are not like very helpful. So they need to give us some additional interior photos. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I agree, especially with Commissioner Sheda's comments. And I think we've talked about this on a lot of applications recently, that these sections need to be drawn to scale. That's the whole reason that we can't rely on them if they are not. So we also need more interior site photos, including photos of the trash enclosure. And I think also, generally speaking, if you're sending someone out to take site photos, especially when it's an accessible site like this, there's no reason you shouldn't be providing interior site photos. You're standing on the street frontages, but not actually walking through the drive-through. So in the future, it'd be helpful to also include interior site photos. The plans show a cobblestone fence, but what is built is a white vinyl fence. I don't know if the performance standards are different, but obviously the inconsistency between the photos and the reference on the plans, and it even has a full elevation showing cobblestone. Please update those to show what's actually there. The statement of facts states you're seeking a 10-year term, which is what is permissible. The statement of findings states 15-year term, so correct that. The statement of findings on page 4 also notes a 6-foot high transparent fence adjacent to the residential, which it is not. So just clean up those typos, and I have nothing additional.
Good catch with regarding to the wall. If the attenuation, I mean, yes, it is possible that in future the walls would need repair and would need to be replaced with a new wall, and maybe the material that was picked at that time doesn't exist. It's a different kind of material. But at the end of it, whatever material is picked, the attenuation level that the board had previously prescribed needs to be retained, and that is what board is looking for, and needs to be correct, needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, this concludes the review session for May 19th, 2025. We'll resume in 10 minutes.
Yes.
It's 11:51, so 10 minutes would be 12:05.
12:05.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll resume at 12:05 for the public hearing. we ready?
Yes, good afternoon. We are live, we are streaming. Ms. Matias, you may proceed with the public hearing.
Good afternoon. This is the Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for May 19th, 2025. For the record, Commissioner Sheta is is participating remotely, and Commissioner Otley Brown is absent. The first item is the compliance hearing, 8599 BZ, Volume 4, 1106 Metcalf Avenue, the Bronx. Is there anyone representing the property owner or leasee or anyone in attendance? Please raise your hand. Mr. Lewis?
Daniel Ash.
And Daniel Ash, okay. And Elvis
Elvis
Kalaja?
Kalaja.
Okay.
All right.
Once they'll get in, then I'll do it.
Yeah, I think they're all in the room.
Okay, let me see. Elvis Kalaja, Michael Lewis.
Kalaja.
Okay, could you all unmute, please? Okay, raise your right hands. Raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Okay, Mr. Ash, are you leading this?
Yes, I'll be lead. There may be one other person from the fee owner that was going to join as well. If I see him come up, I'll let you know, let him in. But
Daniel, Elvis is here, just to let you know.
Yes, Elvis. We were able to listen to the board's review session earlier. I have on with me today Elvis Kalaja, who's the dealer for the site, and Michael Lewis, who's general counsel for Global Partners, which is the landlord for the site.
Deputy General Counsel, just to be clear.
Apologies. We heard what the board said. We've received the comments that you had sent out on the compliance notice, and we have responded to most of those items prior to this last week. I did not send you an affidavit. I could pull up on the screen. We have prepared an affidavit that was signed by the dealer. We have taken care of the items and have photos showing that the food truck's removed, the tires removed, garbage is stored properly. There was an issue with U-Haul getting the termination letter, although they
We have that already.
Yes, we have that now.
Sorry, Mr. Ash, could you stop speaking for a moment? Mr. Kalaja, when someone else is speaking, one at a time, please. I know you're enthusiastic, but one at a time.
We are
Okay.
recording this and
Yeah.
it's being transcribed, so
It makes it
it makes it difficult when more than one person speaks at a time. So we will give
Sorry.
you a to speak. Okay, please go ahead, Mr. Ash.
Yes, it was hard to get the U-Haul termination because the person who handles that was on vacation. He gave us the affidavit this morning, and I forwarded it over to the board along with the photos and affidavit from Mr. Kalaja, understanding all the items that have gone on here that were unacceptable, that have already seized and will continue to remain seized. And Global has agreed to have someone monitor the site once a week to ensure that it remains, that none of these items ever come back.
And why was this happening? Because we did bring, I think what to me is very, very disturbing and frustrating is that at the last hearing, Commissioner Otley Brown had shown photos of a similar situation and the applicant was told, and the applicant told us it has been corrected. And then again, on another similar site visit, she did notice the same truck, though it was parked on the sidewalk. And so it has not been corrected because it's happening, it's lurking around. And we were told it has been corrected. So how does this board continue going forward? Be assured that this will never happen again.
If I may, address that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you very much. And it pained me to hear the board's review session, especially it not having some of the recent compliance photos and evidence that the site is currently in compliance. However, the data that the board discussed about how this is now a longstanding pattern of noncompliance, the answer to your question is the prime tenant that's our company, will move to terminate the lessee dealer operator franchisee because of this pattern of noncompliance. That we can vigorously attempt to enforce the our subtenant agreement and petroleum marketing franchise. However, because of this pattern, the only thing that would assuage my concerns, and I submit the boards, is if the franchise is terminated. I don't think he's entitled to a third bite of the apple, especially given this record. Although the site, does look like it certainly, has been restored, to the standards that are required. This is a serious pattern of noncompliance. So I would submit to the board if they would be willing to continue the variance, that the prime tenant will initiate prompt efforts to terminate the franchisee operator on the grounds of this pattern of noncompliance.
Well, why does it have to be based on what the board's decision is? Since
No,
it's so.
no, I agree. It is a pattern of noncompliance. It's unacceptable on any grounds. I'm not suggesting, but in order to assuage the board's concerns that this will not be a situation that would continue in the future, I would submit that our action would be proceeding with the termination. We've sent, notices of default, and that just has not has gotten us on the wrong side of a notice of compliance hearing. So that's what I would propose to do. And in addition, I pulled up the outstanding ECB violation, which frankly I neither myself nor Mr. Ash had. It was not brought to our attention, but I would also represent to the board that as the prime tenant, we would get a certificate of compliance filed and the outstanding penalty paid within 48 hours.
Okay, so I think the process should start right away, if that's what you're proposing to do.
Yes.
I appreciate you wanting to terminate. I hope the process has already started, regardless of what board's decision is.
Yes. Thank you, and I appreciate that. The only caveat, unless Mr. Ash sees any reason why we would need longer than that to satisfy and take care of that outstanding ECB violation, I think we would do it promptly within 48 hours would be my.
I believe I have to get a copy of the violation itself and make sure that all conditions are cured. And in terms of paying the fine, it was a default one. So we could probably reopen that and then take care of it with the oath ECB.
Okay.
How long does it take to terminate?
Well, this is a franchise relationship that's governed under the Petroleum Marketing Practices Act. It's a federal statute, so no later than 90 days, but I would just have to consult with outside counsel on whether shortened notice would be permissible. We would do it as swiftly as possible, no later than a 90-day notice of termination statutorily. It's a federal statute enacted since 1978.
I think you need to act on it as quickly as possible.
Yes, I would agree.
Any questions or comments?
Well,
Go ahead.
I suppose what would we do in that event? Call them back to understand who the new operator will be and understand what, if any, improvements will be made to the site or any changes. If there's a timeline,
We need to get a timeline.
we should
and-
schedule something.
Yeah, I think what I want to know is how long, while this termination process is going on 90-day notice,
Mhm.
what I to know what happens during that time, who is in charge of the site, who is managing, operating, overseeing the site. And then when a new operator comes in, then that new operator, I'm going to, I'm not going to close this case. I'm going to tell you this.
Mhm.
I'm not going to close it until the issue has been resolved. So if you want to pay your lawyers and come to the hearings and everything for all this, it's your call, but I'm not going to close this until you have corrected the wrong and brought this site to compliance in whatever business decision you are promising here has been carried forth, laying out the entire timelines and who the next operator is and how are you putting together the next in your contract, the agreements that would ensure that the new operator will be abiding by all the governing rules and conditions of the city and of this board. Those are critical also.
Okay, all very good points and points that are well taken. Again, I'm in-house counsel, appearing on behalf of the prime tenant. And so what I would suggest, and I completely agree that this is a matter of concern and the board should keep the matter open until it's resolved to its satisfaction. I would ask that perhaps maybe the hearing could be continued so that we would have an opportunity to report back to the board on all of the steps that you had just outlined, Madam Chairperson. And I would say that again, perhaps if about 90 days would be acceptable. That I think would work. If the board wanted a sooner, I would support whatever timely updates to show our action. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, it has to be sooner. This has been going on since 2020.
Okay.
So, this whole misbehavior and misuse of boards has been going on. We have been observing it 20. We generally give 10 years term because of the nature of the operation and the way it has not been kept up. We have given it short terms, 2 years, this time,
Right.
3 years. And this is very unusual. So it has to get addressed ASAP.
If the board would maybe carry this for 30 days, you will see the actions that we have undertaken within that time, if that would be acceptable.
First of all, I want to hear, I know Mr. Kalaja, am I pronouncing?
Yes,
Mr.
you're pronouncing right, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Mr. Kalaja, then Mr. Costanza. Go ahead, Mr. Kalaja.
Good afternoon. Thank you for hearing me. I'm the new operator in this site. The issues, I was in the phone while you guys were discussing about the site before, and I was looking at the pictures. And what you were saying, you personally, I'm referring to you, ma'am, you were right. I promise you, and we have Alpha David from my site, that these will never, ever happen again. Never. You guys are welcome to pass any day, anytime. I'm proposing to send pictures every day if you guys want. So this will be a cure. Basically, this will not happen again. The food truck that you had before there, it was called Dello Mio. It was here. It was terminated since April 1st, before either we got the papers, because he was very, very dirty. Other food trucks we never had. The other food truck that you saw on the street, it's nothing to do with us, but it's not either here anymore. Uncle Fix was not operating in the site, was just parked at night and during the day, because the guy lives very close, but during the day he was operating outside. But it's not parked here anymore. I fixed that. The garbage are being taken care of every 2 days, and I'm willing to show you proofs. Like I said, I can send you pictures every day, or either each 3 days, whatever you like. And you guys, of course, are welcome to see this by yourself as well. I'm willing to work with you guys in under your terms because I understand that it's been going a lot. And what you were saying before, you said that it's not right because this is they think it's a joke. It's not a joke. I got this site last year, and some things needed to be taken care of. Right now, this site, not because it's me, it's probably one of the cleanest sites of the area. I cleaned everything. Everything. It's no more trucks, no more parking on the sidewalks. If parking on the sidewalks happens, that's gonna be under my expenses, but it's not gonna happen anymore because I'm on top of it. The car wash was never my thing. Never ever. I had to fight with them. They are people, they living probably around the area, some Dominican people. They were doing car wash, and I really had major problem to remove them. Either with the people that they live close with the gas station, by the buildings. They were complaining every day, complaining, and fighting with them. We managed to take them out. They are out. They're not in the promises anymore, and we've been cleaning it out. It's nothing to basically whatever the papers that you guys sent it to us, everything has been done, and it's going to remain like that for all the time, honestly, because it's the right thing to do. It's a gas station and it's not a garbage place.
Thank you.
And I've been working, I'm sorry, I have another gas station, so I do this thing. And I assure you, I promise you, I either signed the Alpha David under my name since I'm the owner with my brother here, but my brother, I'm the most part of it. And my wife is also here right now. We both signed that these things will never, ever happen again in our site. Never. It's not gonna happen, and it's never gonna be these issues anymore.
Good afternoon. My name is Flavia. I'm Elvis' wife.
You cannot speak because we didn't swear.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm
We
sorry.
don't- Yeah, thank
Do
you.
you want me to?
Okay,
swear in?
Mr. Costanza, our executive director, had his hand up. Please, Mr. Costanza, go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair, just as a matter of just procedure, I just wanted to alert the board that, remember, in this compliance matter, the board is the applicant here, but I believe one of the conditions in the July approval grant was that C of O was to be obtained by January 29, 2025. So I'm not sure, Mr. Ash, if that has happened, but just as a note that separate and apart from the outcome, it's not in compliance right now and operating without a C of O if one wasn't obtained as of yet.
I can respond to that. No, there's not been obtained. The building department first would not let us reinstate the project. Then after a few months, they did let us reinstate it. We then filed for our amendment, which is pending before them now to modify the Schedule A, which we need in order to get the TCO.
Okay, so Mr. Ash, and again, I'll defer to our counsels, but I think an application for an extension of time needs to be filed because hopefully if successful for Mr. Lewis and all the attempts that are being made, with the lapse of the time to obtain the C of O, you're temporarily rendered moot this approval. So that needs to be addressed.
We can file that, yes.
Oops.
Mr. Ash, you're representing, or Mr. Lewis is representing? Yeah, we need letters of representation. I think you made the submission this morning with photos, but is Mr. Lewis representing the property owner or the leasee? What's the dynamics here?
I'm here on behalf of the prime tenant. It's a triple net lease, so we would be filing the application for extension of time to obtain the CO and also undertaking to address the violations that were noted in the notice of compliance hearing. And I should point out also for the board's benefit that Mr. Kalaja, his company, did take over assignment of the subtenant operation on August 1st, 2023. So some of the data from the non-compliance had occurred, I believe, prior. It is still a concern that naturally there was non-compliance during Mr. Kaleja's watch.
So if Mr. Kaleja has taken over the operation as of 2023, the violations, the last set is happening under his watch. So how do we make sure that going forward, it will not happen? I mean, so this very hands-off overseeing is what's causing this issue. So that board is not going to weigh in on how businesses have to be dealt, but whoever is being leased to, they don't care about what they're supposed to do, or I do not know what the process, but the responsibility has to lie with the property owner who should be filing these applications and requiring the operator to meet all these obligations and requirements. I think it's happening the other way around. It's the operator who's filing it and who gets this and doesn't bother to do anything. I'm not sure, or is not being advised properly by their representatives, legal representatives. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's a problem here, and I'm not going to give you a business decision, but you need to figure it out and correct it so that in future this will not happen, and give assurance to the board that this will not happen through whatever legal mechanisms you are going to put forth.
That's very fair, Madam Chair.
Mr. Kalaja is raising his hand again.
Okay, Mr. Kalaja, do you have anything to add?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, what you said is right, but some things, either when we're not here, me personally, some like what you said, the food truck again before, which is never had nothing to do with us, was there. I talked to them and I told him that this cannot never be my property anymore. I mean, either here close, because it's not our thing, basically I'm not getting anything from it, or why it should be there. Because why they use that is because of the cameras. We have cameras all over the gas station and they being break all over the night. So I told him that cannot happen. So again, like I said before, these things, I promise you guys, will never ever happen again. I'm here every day now, working with my family basically, and these things will never occur. I'm gonna submit from the day and after every day pictures to the landlords to ensure that these things are fixed in the proper way that you guys are talking about, which is the proper way, so we don't have these issues anymore.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Anything additional?
Thank you for hearing me.
All right. We should schedule this very quickly. And I would recommend, can we do this in June or July?
Should we be able to?
June 16?
Just to do notice.
Should we go to the public?
Yeah, we need to go to the public.
Public,
Yeah,
but-
let's go to the public.
And then you think about it.
Yeah.
Because we need to give notice. Yeah, okay,
But they also have to file, don't they?
Yeah, let's do.
okay.
And then they do
go to the
that,
public
yeah,
and look at-
yeah, okay. I can't see that screen. Oh, I can't see that screen. You moved, oh, I can see it up front, sorry. The case we're currently discussing is 8595 BZ 11106 Metcalf Avenue of the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 1600304215 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
So we have our next hearing. How much time will you need to correct the issues at Buildings Department and other operational plans and proposals?
The operational plans and proposals that is, hold on, I just want to see the violation.
Maybe you need to consult with Mr. Lewis and discuss.
Yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
Mr. Ash, in this case, since there is, also we have Mr. Lewis here who will be filing the extension of time and the violation, it would be best that you all talk together and find out the time frame. But my suggestion would be, we try to bring this back in July. We have two dates, one July 14th and another one is July 28th. So what I want prior to this, the submission date for July is June 26th and submission date for July 28th is July 8th. What I want is for you to show us the timeline of correcting all the mistakes. What are the steps that are going to be undertaken to fix the physical condition, to fix the violations, or the violation should have been fixed by then? And what are the legal measures, business terms and conditions that you're going to undertake that will make sure in future such a situation will not occur? And provides all the improvements to the site, not just the interior, but also from the street frontages, because as I mentioned at the last hearing, while the food truck was not there on the site, it was by operating from the side, a curb cut, and then whenever it felt they could just go to the site. So we did observe those food carts hanging around the site just to make a good photo opportunity, but they came back. So what measures you will be taking to make sure that this will never happen in future? All of those need to be outlined very clearly.
They did submit some photos and stuff today.
I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, I
to
know you
look
haven't
at
had a
it since
chance,
I've been
yeah.
hearing. I apologize if you have submitted anything. We have been hearing,
Yeah.
so we didn't get the opportunity to review them. But please put together a substantive, informative document for our consideration with photos.
We will certainly do that, and if the board wishes to, I would submit that the July 29th date with the July 8th submission deadline would be sufficient for us to report back, demonstrating zero tolerance, and so that these issues never have to be addressed again by the board.
And the extension of time application should be filed with a clear explanation of how long it's going to take you to get a CFO and what the steps would be. And maybe you can use our new application forms on our new website.
I'll leave that up to Mr. Ash.
Right. Yes, thank you for that reminder, Commissioner Yoon. Please do submit your extension of time application also so that we can probably hear both of them in tandem.
Okay, no one's raised their hands
Okay.
in the public.
Thank you all, and please note we are watching. Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Okay, special order calendar, continued hearing items, 53232 BZ, 3102 Astoria Boulevard, Queens.
This would be Mr. Kanzada. Yes, I've let him. I don't know who from their office will be. I think last time we had Maya Abdul Rahim.
Good morning, Mr. Kanzada. Good morning, Mr. Rahim.
Good morning, board. Good morning, everybody.
I gotta swear you in. Raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes,
Yes.
I agree.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Okay, Nasir Khandala, I'm the applicant. Okay, so let me start. I listened to the board comment and I do agree with the board. What we tried with the owner to remove the right building so we can accommodate 3 MPD. And I do agree it is tight. And we will reconsider everything with the owner. And we will try to remove the back building and reaccommodate the 3 MPDs if possible.
So you will remove, but I'm sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, so like I said, we try to remove the right building and try to accommodate 3 MPD, but I agree with the board, it still feel tight. So I will reconsider with the owner and I'll try to remove the back building and see if owner agrees, and then we keep the right building and remove the rear building, and it will easily accommodate 3 MPDs. That's our target.
So you believe 3 MPDs is absolutely necessary and
Actually, no brand will give you with 2 MPDs. Any brand you have, they ask minimum 3 MPDs. So that's what his target is, that if he gets 3 MPDs, he will get a brand. And with 2 MPDs, no brand will give you franchise. So this their problem is. So we have to somehow accommodate 3 MPD. Uh, I think it will work because if we remove the bigger building, which is the back building, it can easily accommodate 3 or even 4, because at one time board did approve 4 MPD in 94, I think. So we will consider that also. And but I had to convince the owner to remove back building instead of right building. Because last meeting I had with him, we convinced him to move the right building. It would easily fit 3 MPD with the SQ angle. But I do agree with the board, it is still tight. So let me run one more option, and if board give me time, I will reconsider the whole thing again.
Thank you. Just one question. Do you have any documentary evidence that shows that no brand would accept any gasoline station with only 2 MVDs?
Sure, I have that. I have some other gas station, so I will run through them. No problem. I will get you that information.
Thank you.
Mr. Kandala, if you're thinking of removing the building, the back building, it really then makes the space very open to the residents that are located behind it. So the nature of the back wall treatment has to be much, much more robust. It cannot be a fence or something. It has to be a pretty high masonry wall kind of construction with attenuation. So, so you need to keep that in mind if you're considering remove, because right now the building itself acts as a buffer. So if you're going to remove that, that opens up, that exposes them to more noise and light, and so keep that in mind.
We will keep the back wall of the building up to 8 feet high, so it's safe, and we will keep the masonry wall. That's fine. Or if we end up removing the whole wall, then we'll put brand new wall with 8 feet high. It should be okay.
So the proposal will be to take down the back wall and just keep that building that's to the side.
Correct. I have a similar to that, a proposal was approved by board in 1994. And we might consider something like that, and not exact, but something like that. It might easily fit three MPDs.
All right, I'm not convinced, but I guess you have done more gas stations, and you hear our concerns, so let's see what you can put together.
Sure.
Questions, suggestions, thoughts?
If you could also provide a more detailed maneuverability diagram for both trucks and cars, that's more like an auto turn analysis, you know, the proprietary software that helps diagram it, showing the full width of the car navigating the site as opposed to just a single line. Because this site's really tight, and it's, again, not that convincing that some of the maneuverability that you've shown so far would actually work.
Listen, now your point was well taken, and you did mention that before, and
Okay.
we will consider that. We will change it right away. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now, public, let's go to the public. And
The case that we're currently discussing is 53232BZ 3102 Astoria Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-030-4215, press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay. How much time will you need, Mr. Kanzada?
I think 2 months should be fine.
2 months?
2
2
months?
months should be fine.
Okay, so I'm looking at,
End of July, August?
oh, what happened? I'm sorry, I'm not able to find the,
I think early July, if it's possible, 14th, you said.
is that what you're saying, end of July?
Early July, so mid-July, 14 or 15 we have, I think.
No, it's not.
There is one in July 14. That's when the submission date is June 26th.
That should be fine, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Ooh.
Okay. And I'm going to just say this will be the last chance that would be given. If the board is not satisfied, we're not going to consider any other options.
So the last
Understand,
hearing,
no problem.
final hearing?
We'll do the
This-
best we can. No-
Yeah, this would be the final one.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, okay. No, thank
okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Item number 14, 32853 BZ, 3424 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx. I'm sure it's Daniel Ash.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Anyone with you, Mr. Ash?
No, it's just myself.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
My name is Daniel Ash. I was able to listen to the board's review session, and we are very happy that you were pleased with the submission that was made and the updated affidavit. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And please do make sure that your clients know what their roles and responsibilities are, abiding by the BSA conditions, because if perchance we happen to see they're not in compliance, we will bring in a compliance hearing as we are doing for Metcalf.
Yes, understood, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 32853 BZ, 3424 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252 and enter the webinar ID number. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-030-4215 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to close this.
Okay, we're almost done. 34 seconds. Bring it up. Okay. No one's raised their hands, so called in.
Okay. Make a motion to close.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
We're going to schedule this for decision for June 16th.
No submission?
No submission.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
New cases, item number 15, 594-44BZ, 30 Central Park, South Manhattan.
Jerry Jones. Wait a minute.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. Is anyone else joining you?
The architect, Josh Bradenfoner should be joining.
Josh,
Bradenfoner?
don't see him.
I don't see it, but I do see someone with the phone number. Last four digits are 8504. Would that be your?
Colleague, I don't know.
Good question. Possibly. I'm not.
Can that person raise hand if this is real? It's regarding 30 Central Park South? No.
Can you proceed without the architect, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I can.
Can you say how one would raise their hand on the cell phone again?
I'm sorry, *6 to unmute if you're on the phone. If you're calling in and wish to be heard, you can press *6 on the phone to unmute.
Go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Can you proceed without the architect?
Yes.
Okay, so let me swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session. And when the architect bounces in, we'll review him.
Gerald Johnson. For the applicant. Do you want me to make a brief statement or? Okay. This is a property that was located at 30 Central Park South. It's between 5th and 6th Avenues facing the park. It is a 15-story building built originally as a residential hotel back in the early 1920s, and then was converted via BSA variance in the mid-50s to basically a medical doctor's office building. On all 13 floors, with a restaurant on the 14th and penthouse floors, which has then subsequently been converted to offices via BSA variance in 2000. I believe it was a 2008 approval. The exact date I can't remember, but over the last 70 years, it's been the variance has been extended. First for 20 years to 1975, and then again for 10 years to 85, 2005, 2015, and now it is extended to 2025, July 12th, which will expire, and we're here seeking another 10-year term.
I have a question. Is there any reason why the extension of term needs to be requested rather than not asking for a no term?
I believe under section 11411 that we filed under, the board is limited to 10 years.
Oh, it's a pre-61, that's why.
Right, it's pre-61.
Forgot about that minor detail.
I heard that question earlier of another application, and I was like, yeah, why aren't we?
Yes,
Okay.
Madam Chair, and again, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, I wasn't thinking that this question was going to come up. But if prior to 1961, there was no term, and at some point subsequent to that, a term was imposed, then perhaps it's just a condition. But you're correct that statutorily, if there was a term prior to 1961, then the board has no option but to consider a maximum of 10-year terms. Just throwing it out there if there's something. I didn't read it. I'm sorry. I didn't read the history, but if you do, let me know.
Okay.
It was originally granted with a 20-year term in 55.
So it is subject to a 10-year term.
Yeah.
Thank you. I tried.
We tried, but I do have a question, and that is, why has there been why has it been so difficult to obtain a CO? I think the last CO was it was a TCO that too in March of 2020.
Correct. The work that the TCO was being done under or for was the last BSA approval to change the top floor to offices from restaurant use. And that work is being done by, we believe, by the owner of that unit. And there were issues with their DOB permit, which stopped the full TCO from being issued. There were some outstanding items. And I believe the work, I mean, if you look at the date of the last TCO, it was March 2020. That's the start of the COVID pandemic. So I believe things stopped, and they've been trying to get work back up, but they will proceed to continue to do that through that tenant. But they did have a CO for the building pursuant to the board's grant back in 2015.
Okay. So in this case, so we also need to amend the extension of time. That was the condition. So that's the amendment. Okay. Any questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
So the case that we're currently discussing is 59544BZ, 30 Central Park South, Manhattan. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 160-030-4215 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
How much time will you need to obtain the CO? It would be helpful to get a timeline.
It's right now that application, I believe, was being handled by the unit owner of the top floor. And this application is being handled by the Board of Managers. We can reach out and try to get an answer for you on that. I don't know an answer right now.
Harun, is she part of your team?
Pardon?
Mr. Johnson, is Harun Rashid part of your team?
I think Harun Rashid was for
No.
the East Tremont.
No.
I don't. Sorry.
Did he disappear?
Mr. Rashid, if you are here for 30 Central Park South, please maintain your hands. If you're not, then please lower your hand.
We did go for the public, so it's,
So he's for the public, I guess.
yeah, we did.
We did do the public, so probably. You want to
Okay.
let him in and
Yeah,
see what he's calling about.
Mr. Rashid, what,
Can you unmute him?
Let him in.
Unmute. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Rashid.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, are you speaking about Central Park South?
3424 East Tremont Avenue.
So we closed that case. You should reach out to Mr. Ash.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Mute, you can mute him. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I think I would like to know as to how long it will take to obtain the CO, and if you can provide a clear timeline of deliverables.
I will, we will try to get an answer for you as quickly as possible right now. Again, that application at DOB was being handled by the unit owner of the top floor who had the open items on his application. But again, I will try to get an answer for you. I also want to note that the comments at the review session about violations, all violations have been cleared. And it was just a typo between 4 and 2. When I originally drafted this statement, there were 4 open violations. When I finished it, there were 2, and those 2 have been cleared.
Provide documentation of that, Mr. Johnson, please.
I will do.
Yeah. If there aren't any other comments, I would like to make a motion to close.
Anyone? Oh, go ahead. Pull it. Okay. Motion to close, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shara,
Aye.
Commissioner Yun,
Aye.
And I would like to schedule this for June 16th. So please submit all the other documents, the violation status and the timeline to obtain the CO.
by May 29th.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you,
Good to
Mr.
see you.
Johnson. Seeing you. Wow.
Nice seeing you all too.
Item number
Been a while.
16. Take care. Item number 16, 82755 BZ, 24520 139th Avenue, Queens.
This would be Hiram.
Is it Hiram?
Yeah. Yeah.
That person, Rashid, has his hands.
Mr. Rashid, your case has been heard and it has been closed, so we are not going to hear this case for today.
You can
lower your hand.
You can take his hand down, can't you? She can remove his hand.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay,
It's
good.
gone.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Is there anyone with you, Mr. Rothberg?
No, only me for today. Thank you.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do. Thank you.
Please state your
Hiram
name.
Rothberg from Basilati Associates. Sorry, Tony. I attended.
Mr. Roth,
That's okay, let him go.
go ahead, Mr.
Go ahead, continue, Mr. Rothberg.
I attended executive session this morning, and 2 items. In response to Vice Chair Shabeta, seeing a Google photo of the site, I'd like to add an additional condition onto the variance that says there'll be no parking of vehicles on the sidewalk or in such a manner as to obstruct pedestrian and vehicular traffic, and that all maintenance activities will take place on site. So we'd like to add that. And in response to Commissioner Shetta, yes, we made a revised statement of facts with the block and lot. The variance granted from 2022 gave us 18 months in order to obtain the C of O, and now we're asking for 20 months. And I think that covers all the items from this morning.
If you can also add that all repair work will be done in the bays as opposed to being done on the lot itself.
Yes. If you'd like, I could revise the statement of facts to include that additional condition.
Yeah, no repair work shall happen in the outdoors. It'll all be within the,
Absolutely. No problem. I'll add those two conditions about no parking of vehicles on the sidewalk and another condition that all repairs are done in the repair base.
okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is, what are we doing? Sorry. 82755 BZ, 24520 139th Avenue, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-030-4215 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss. Did Mr. DeSantis go?
Hmm?
Yeah, get to the next case. I don't see him in the room.
Okay.
He was there before.
How much time will you need, Mr. Rothkrook, to provide this information?
I could have it in before the end of the day.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion to close it. And Mr. Rothkrook will submit a revised statement of fact with these additional conditions that we talked about. And we will schedule this for June 16th decision.
Okay. Motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rothkirk.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Item number 17, 76456 BZ, 200-05 Horace Harding Expressway, Queens. This is Mr. DeSantos.
I don't see.
Oh, please, Mr. DeSantos, come back to me. Let me see if I can email him. If you're the person 8504, raise your hand if that's for. Are you okay? 245, 200-05 Horace Harding Expressway.
Okay.
Second call, that's why I try and get this man on.
Yeah, let's do a second call and let's just make sure we have someone from Goldman.
That's Eric, I think, Eric Vash.
Eric Bosch? Okay, all right, I think he's in the room. So let's start with, we'll do this as a second call. Let's proceed with the next case, 308-79.
I'm sorry, I just need papers and stuff here.
Okay, somebody by the number, oh, that's okay.
Okay. The next item is 308-79 BZ, 43 Clark Street, Brooklyn. Mr. Vath, is anyone joining you, Eric, Mr. Vath?
Yeah, I asked the architect to join Chris Farnham. Maybe he can be promoted.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Chris Farnham from Studio Hill here, the architects for the project.
Okay, those are that's part of your team? And we're
Yes,
done?
thank you.
Raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Hi, my name is Eric Vath, partner at Goldman Harris. Thank you, Chair Shonda. Thank you, commissioners. I heard the review session questions. I'd like to address those along with Chris Farnham, the architect. Just a quick update on the community board vote. I don't think this was brought up, but we received the land use committee recommended approval at our hearing on May 7th, and we're scheduled for a full board vote on Wednesday. So we expect to receive their recommendation very shortly. Question one about work status. Apologies, I should have been clear in the papers, but the renovations were never commenced under the previous operator or previous plans. I'm told this was a business decision. So the renovations, the new operator hopes to commence construction as soon as this summer and targeting completion by next summer, hence the need for an extension of time to obtain a CO. Violations, there was a question about violations. It is a 30-story co-op building. I believe there are 11 open violations, some elevator violations and FISP facade inspection violations. We understand that the facade work is ongoing and should be completed soon, which would clear those violations. Under my client's lease, the owner is required, the co-op is required to cure these violations. And my client is responsible for any violations within the gym health facility space. So to the extent there are any in the space, those will be corrected during construction. There was a question about the plans, I believe, and the proposed changes. Again, since the original approved plans were never constructed, this is a new gym layout with different partitions. It's within the variance approved space. And as I'll get to, there's a slight tweak in the gross floor area. But a lot of the changes proposed are mostly programmatic. So it's still a modernization of the facility and upgrades to the pool, the gym equipment, new class instruction rooms. And yes, there are now tennis courts in lieu of squash courts under the original proposal. So as for the gross floor area reduction, which we mentioned in our description, the original approval, according to from what I can glean, it was about a total of 76,000 gross square feet, including portions of the subcellar, cellar, basement, first, second, and then there's some mechanical on the fourth and fifth floors. Chris, stop me if I'm wrong about that.
That was all correct.
Now the new proposal, this new operator is leasing less space, so it's leasing approximately 65,000 gross square feet. And I'm told that what's been excluded, and we're happy to share the drawings and walk you through those, but there are areas in the basement and the second floor which are going to be reclaimed by the co-op for accessory residential use, storage, that kind of stuff. Those spaces were designated as gym space. I think they were under the 2023 proposal you reviewed. I think they were, it was a children's playroom and maybe a golf simulator room. Those are being now reclaimed. So it is a slightly smaller gym facility. Happy to, again, share plans if you have any questions. Photographs, thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, I realize we did neglect to show the entrance on Clark Street. We're going to get that corrected and resubmitted. Apologies for the oversight. And then Commissioner Yoon, excellent question about the egress stair. You're correct. So the new operator is using this existing egress stair down to Pineapple Street for emergency egress. This came about, the previously approved plans were unclear as to this egress point because the door, even though the door discharges at grade, the egress is actually located between both levels. So we wanted to be very clear in our application and our plans that that was going to be utilized. That's not utilized by the co-op. It's going to be utilized as emergency egress for the gym. And with that, I'm happy to answer additional questions. Or Chris, is there anything you would like to add?
I think you covered everything that was part of the questions.
Great.
I have a question. Since this was a variance that was granted and the floor area reduction is a reduction in the degree of the ask, the plans then need to be revised and need to be submitted accordingly. I'm trying to look through the folder just to see.
Yeah, we have submitted the plans. We can more clearly label these areas. I believe we've hatched what's in scope and out of scope.
Yeah, the very rather big parcel.
I think it might be helpful for us to understand what portions have been removed and given back.
Yeah.
We're trying to compare the prior grant with the current proposed square footage.
Okay, yeah, happy to provide that.
And then if you could also spell out the change in floor area in the statement of facts.
Quantify it, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that should also be updated on your zoning analysis form.
Yes.
Okay, happy to revise those and resubmit.
And that egress door on Pineapple will be used exclusively for emergencies only, right?
Yes, I believe that's needed because there are place of assembly spaces, Chris, in the facility, right?
Yeah, that's right. And there's another very similar door to the north, which is also going to be an exclusive egress door.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm seeing two egress doors. The one to Hicks is the new one.
I mean, they're both existing, but the original approved plans hatch them as out of scope as part of the co-op, and when in fact they are in scope. They're part of the gym facility.
And the previous drawing, they were also used for egress. It's just that the way the drawings were set up, you couldn't see them at the actual discharge point. You could just see the stair leading up to them. So there's no real change there. It's just that the way the drawings were set up made it sort of impossible to see where the actual discharge point was.
Okay. Okay. And just in terms of uses that are being added, are there any new uses added that would result in some additional noise attenuation or anything like that?
Chris, I'll let you address that.
No, I mean, the only racket, the racket sports will be tennis, right? And we've spent a lot of time, looking at the STC ratings for various walls, ceilings, et cetera, to make sure that we're going to have sort of appropriate noise attenuation for the uses that are there.
And squash, the previous use, is that typically a noisier use, Chris, or is it about the same?
Well, the squash ball is really dead, right? So it's not like racquetball, which is a little noisier. But if you get people who are super good, it can have a little bit of noise, but it's very different from like, a racquetball, which can bang around there and make quite a bit more noise. So squash is a better one from that perspective.
And you're sure this is not going to become a pickleball court, right? No, I'm just kidding.
There are 2 pickleball courts on the ground floor, but I mean,
I think it's fair to say that it is a less loud squash is louder in play than tennis would be.
Yeah.
Because of the size of the ball.
Tennis doesn't
Much
allow-
louder, actually. It's the size of the ball, and that space is much less. And the frequency of hitting the ball is like crazy. It's like every second.
Yeah.
And
Well-
you're also hitting a wall as opposed to.
Right,
you know,
tennis
another
court, you
racket.
shouldn't, unless, this is not a half court, so you're not hitting a ball. You're playing with another opponent, so you really shouldn't be hitting the ball with the wall or ball with the ball. And, but squash is all about hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and there are those two tiny pickles.
Yeah, I think maybe just a general note about sound attenuation or
Yeah, I
something
think there
like
should
that.
be a general note about the sound. That's why I just kind of want to have a note on the plan that ensures that sound is being attenuated to, and reverberation will not be an interference to residents above.
Great.
Because I don't know where this is situated in relation to the rest of the 30-story building. So I'm just kind of putting that out there. So please do add that note. Yeah, there is a space above the tennis court, it seems, which is called paddleball and rock climbing, and then the building. So there is give, but please do add that note to the plan. Okay. And I just want to be clear, there, are there violations associated with the health establishment?
It's not currently open and utilized, right, Chris? But I think there was maybe one of the elevator violations, did we determine was in this space?
I actually don't know off the top of my head, but to repeat what you said, I know that as part of the lease, the co-op is responsible for resolving all of those.
The building wide violations, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments? We can then go to the public. Any questions?
No.
Okay, let's go to the public then.
Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 30979BZ, Volume 4, 43 Clark Street, Brooklyn. Should you wish to have any comments on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 16000304215 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
How much time do you need to make these corrections?
We can turn these around quickly. Certainly next week, I'll get someone out there to photograph, supplement the photos. Chris, your drawing changes?
Yeah, a day.
Okay.
Commissioners, do you want to close the case or do you want to review the plans before closing?
The plan, I mean,
I think we can close. If anything, we can reopen if we're not satisfied with the plans.
Okay.
I think it's just an addition of a note and then some hatching to show the change in floor area. So I don't think it's a substantive.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with closing.
All right.
Where'd the sound go?
So I
And
make,
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, Mr. Vac. Also, just for the architect, if just ensure that the zoning analysis reflects what the area is. Just to coordinate it. In your narrative.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Thanks,
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
yeah, sure, all the documents are coordinated and all the information is accurate throughout all the sets of documents, statement of facts, zoning analysis, the plans.
Absolutely, great.
And if you could just add a note to those emergency egress doors saying for emergency egress. So it's clear.
Got it. Chris,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So no one called in and raised their hands?
Right.
Raise their hands. You want to close?
Yeah.
So the motion to close, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay, I am going to schedule this for June 16th decision.
Do you want me to call, the
Yeah.
Santos? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Goodbye.
Recalling 76456BZ, by and 4, or 6, actually, 5, 200-05 Horace Harding Expressway, Queens. This is Mr. DeSantos.
Yes. Yeah, let him.
Please join us, Mr. DeSantos. De Los Santos.
Yeah, let Miss, oh,
I just promoted him to panelist.
Okay.
Please unmute, Mr. DeSantos.
He's getting there. He's getting.
De Los Santos.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is anyone joining you, Mr. Santos, DeSantos? De Los Santos. Just-
No, I'm just apologizing. The owner couldn't make it to the meeting. I put it on the list, but for certain circumstances, he couldn't make it to my office. He told me to represent himself with you guys.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to the board member questions?
I do.
Okay, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Yes. So my name is Julio de los Santos, as you know. I'm the architectural designer for this project and project manager. We working just to, as the application says, is to approve an extension of term to the previous approved variance. So and also regarding the previous CO, we applied for an application to include a new service bay and also to include accessory retail convenience store on the plans as you see it on my applications. So the use is going to be the same. So it's a family business for a gas station plus automotive service. So the request is to extend a 10-year and guarantee to get a new CO. As I heard in our previous mention, it says we have a deadline for the new, to apply for the new CO. The deadline we were working to obtain the CO in a while now, and the request from the building commissioner was to get the approval from you guys.
Yeah, so I think, thank you again. I know you stepped in to put this application together and you've been working diligently with the BSA team to get this through. So appreciate that. I just would say, since the deadline, based on the prior grant, the condition was that the certificate of occupancy be obtained by June 30th, 2025. My suggestion is that if for whatever reason, if you're not able to obtain it within that time frame, DOB may ask you to come back for extension of time. So since you're here already, I'm going to suggest to my fellow commissioners that we put a new condition that the CO be obtained by November of 2025. So this gives you a little bit more breathing room But if you fail to obtain the CO within that time, you will need to file an extension of time again.
I'm definitely are into this project, so I will on the best of my understanding, I will accomplish the CO by that time.
Yes, and Mr. De Los Santos, hi, this is Carlo Costanza. How are you, sir?
Fine.
So if I recall, the work, you were already pretty far, the work was completed, right? It's just obtaining the certificate of occupancy at this point?
Yes, I had to call back for the final inspection. We passed the final inspection more than 18 months ago. So as per building department's regulations, I had to call for a new final inspections. All drawings are ready, nothing changed. It's remained the same. So I would call for this final inspection. I can guarantee that it's going to be granted, and from there, it just to apply for the standard procedure on the building department, which we are very familiar on the process.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful, great. So I think you do need that, November deadline to, if there any change that happens at the DOB level. Okay.
I really appreciate that time, and I'm pretty sure, and I will do my best to accomplish by that.
I'm sure you are, and I know you will, but I just want to make sure I give you enough time to do this without having to come back to us.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
So the case that we're currently discussing is 76456BZ, 200-05 Horace Harding Expressway, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-030-4215 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone, and if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss. Oops.
Can we make this the next June? What's the next June? Here it is. June 9th. This day to start the work at DOB. Gonna make a motion to close. No submission is required.
Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye. And schedule this for decision on June 9th.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. De Los Santos.
Thank you so much, and have a great day to all of you.
Next item is 13984BZ, Volume 2, 1887 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island. This is Ron Victorio.
Ron Victorio.
Yeah. Here it is, okay.
Oh, I thought I did. Yeah, I don't understand. I thought I did let him in.
No, his hand is still up.
His hand is still up. Mr. Victoria, I did let you, I did change your role to a panelist. Does he need to accept
He needs
anything?
to accept it.
You need to accept the invitation, Mr. Victorio. I'm going to send it again. You need to accept the invitation. Mr. Victorio, I did, okay, he
Is in?
Yeah,
he is in now.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna call him. Okay. Unmute Mr. Victorio.
Mr. Vittori, if you can unmute and put your camera on.
You put your hand down, Mr. Vittorio.
That's.
There we go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Is anyone joining you, Mr. Vittorio?
The owner or the lessee of the property was going to join us, but he's running a tad late, so I'd like to proceed.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to board's comments at review session.
Ronald Victorio, RA. I am the architect for this application on behalf of the owner. I did attend and listen to the comments raised by the commissioners. We are filing for an extension of term on this project. It is the utilization of the lot at the back, which is located in a residential zone for open parking. This utilization of this parking lot was first granted on or about 1985 for a 5-year term and 2 subsequent C of Os for 10-year extensions. The last certificate of occupancy was 5P0009225. That did expire on January 22nd, 2010. There has been no change of use for the or occupancy, no additional signage, no change in interior or the building size, and the parking lot configuration has not changed. Addressing some of the comments that were raised, we will provide a continuous use letter. I've spoken to the tenant, and he will get letters from Benjamin Moore and Hunter Douglas indicating a continuous use in his occupancy of the tenant space, which I believe was just prior to the year 2000. The gate sign is going to be replaced. He sent me a close-up photograph of that. It does indicate the hours of operation. Currently, the sign indicates Monday through Friday that the parking lot will be locked and closed at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 5 o'clock, and Sunday at 4 o'clock. I had a chance to review the previous resolutions. There doesn't seem to be business hours indicated on any of them, but I did check the 5P CVO, and it says all gates must be locked after business hours, but in no event later than 7 o'clock. If the board needs that further clarified in the resolution, we can certainly include it in the resolution because I didn't see any reference to that.
Yeah, I also, that's the only thing I saw, that's at 7 PM.
Yeah, and the owner would like to keep the current hours that I verbally presented, Monday, Friday, 7, Saturday, 5, and Sunday, 4. As far as the gate signs, I will go to the site and get back to the board on the, wait, I'm sorry, continuous. Okay. Gate sign is going to be replaced. The owner said he has tried to remove the graffiti to no avail, and he's just going to have the sign replaced indicating the business hours. The heights of the fence will be measured by myself on a site visit, fronting the side street, Westcott, the adjoining property line at approximately 100 feet. And then the rear fence line will be all measured and indicated correctly with the material and type of fence that is on there. I looked at the photographs and told the client that he's going to need to do some additional planting, filling in those gaps, and they will provide and install evergreens a minimum of 4 foot high at time of planting. The type 2 secret form, I thought we had sent that in and indicated no. Is it a necessary item to have an environmental assessment on this project for the open parking lot?
Applications must provide an environmental assessment.
And that starts with type 2.
Type 2, yeah.
Okay, all right. We will do so. CB1, we have no problem in presenting it to them. I wanted to hear the commissioner's comments prior to committing with Linda Maffio and confirming their presentation. So I will follow up after this meeting with them.
Yeah, the only thing I would recommend that you don't wait for us because it takes a while, especially with summer months coming. It takes a while for the community board to schedule hearings. And we like to hear community board's recommendations and incorporate that if needed into our recommendations and conditions. And not have to delay the project. So,
I have no problem with that. I will see if we can get on this. Well, actually, I think it's the June hearing or June presentation. And knowing the history of this project and the situation, I think the CB1's hearing would work to our advantage and support.
okay.
Block and lot numbers will be clarified on all the findings. We'll make a clearer history of the compliance chart. And I thank Commissioner Yoon regarding her pickup. I did check zoning resolution 12-10 for the definition, and it is taken from the record line, not the widening line. Our office reviewed previous submissions from 1985 and the 1990s, and measurements were taken from the widening line, obviously incorrectly. So we will clarify that both on the zoning maps, the area diagrams, and my site plans, and we'll resubmit.
Thank you. And also just in your cover letter and in your statement, do clarify that so that the future board knows the change that happened.
Absolutely.
It was a more of an correcting the error.
So would the board prefer me to indicate an existing site plan showing the incorrect location of the district change or just the proposed?
The proposed one, you don't need to change the existing, just change the proposed one, provide the correct location. And in your statement of facts and your cover letter, make it very clear where the correction. I don't think you need to change the existing site plan because it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just wanted
no-
to clarify that.
Yeah,
Carlo.
Mr. Costanza, you have your hand up.
Yes, no, Madam Chair, just going back to the question about the secret type 2 checklist, the fee was paid at the time of the filing. I just wanted to, for the record, clarify that. And Mr. Victoria, it's just a form. It's on our website. It's just called the secret type 2 checklist form.
Yes, thank you.
Really simple.
My wife was prudent and already submitted that to me.
Thank you.
To the corrections to the plans, we don't have a proposed plan set. We just have an existing plan set and the previously
Oh,
approved. So
that's
I would,
one complete thing. So
obviously, we're not going to amend the previously approved BSA plans, but the existing plan set that was submitted, if you could revise that to show the correct measurement.
Yes, I will, but we'll no longer call it existing. We'll call it proposed, correct?
Okay.
Is that,
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Existing proposed is what typically we go by.
okay. Oh, okay. So existing and proposed means the same thing as far as your review of the name of the title on the drawing? Okay, you're shaking your head. Yes, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Victoria, it's that once we stamp the new set, right, that'll be supersedes everything else, so it'll be corrected. But the labeling can be just existing / proposed because you're not changing anything. It's just correcting a calculation.
Is just one last thing, considering this will be the third request for the extension in term, would it be beneficial for me and my client to ask for a non-term and have it conditional, and I can get secure a final certificate of occupancy for this property without a term?
Is the board okay with that?
As long as there's no change of operator or use, right?
If there's a.
There will be
you know,
no change of operator or use. If the board needs to be notified if there's a tenant change, does the board need to be notified or only if there's a change in configuration?
It may, Mr. Victoria, in the future, at some point, if this operator ceases, to operate and wishes to sell it, then they would have to come back for an amendment at the time, and the board at its discretion would have to consider whatever conditions necessary.
I have no problem with that, and I would like to make that request. Is it a verbal request or does it need to appear in the findings?
It needs to appear in the form.
Okay. I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, so you revise your statement of facts in that, Mr. Vittorio.
Okay, thank you, Tony. I have nothing further. Did I address all the issues raised?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the public?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to the public. The case that we're currently discussing is 13984 BZ, Volume 2, 1887 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-030-4215 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand on the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Mr. Vittorio, just since have not gone before the community board and the community board may weigh in, and if there are any issues raised, then we may not consider an extension of, we may not consider a non-term, but grant a extension of term only. So
I understand. And based on that hearing from the CB, they send both yourselves and me a letter, correct?
Yes.
So I will amend the statement of facts if it's necessary.
Right. And I would say at your hearing, I don't know if the community board will receive the they have probably the form that has been initially submitted. So in your presentation, make it very clear that you're also requesting a no term.
Okay, not a problem.
Communities
and we will present the revised drawings indicating the relocation of the district boundary.
Yeah.
And to that, I just want to note that it does appear that a very small sliver of the building will end up being in the R3. It says R3X here, but I have R31 in my notes. So, is it R3X or is it R31?
It has both.
Let's look at the radius map. What is it? It's actually R3X, not R31.
Okay, that's my fault. But that a small portion of the building would end up in the residential zone?
Yeah, I think if you add up what 73 is the depth of the building, we have 25.87 to the property line. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but if we add those two numbers up, do we exceed the 100-foot setback?
I think here
Oh,
you
it's
have
20, the building is 2691 and 73, right? 26.91, I'm adding it up right now. 26.91 and 73.66.
I have 73.8.
Equals, I miss it by 6 inches.
Just wanted to
200.57.
Just wanted to make sure we all saw that and that we're aware that that's going to come back as part of the revision, is that a small portion of the building. It won't just be the parking lot, but a very small portion of the building.
Right.
Does that 6-inch portion of the building need to be addressed in facts or findings?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I mean, you just need to, okay. I would say it's 6-inch and since of the prior grant, the use was considered an as-of-right use. The request that was before the board was for the parking in the residential portion. So at no point was the board weighing in on the commercial component of it. And the 6-inch part of it, it's really, it was an error in prior approval, but,
Mhm. We'll call it an oversight.
it was an oversight and it does not structurally or functionally alter any of the findings.
That's correct.
I mean, then in that case, wouldn't it be beneficial to, I'm also getting 8.5 inches, just double check it when you do it, but wouldn't it be beneficial to just write about it now so that future boards?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
Okay.
I agree, write about it, but you don't need to go through the elaborate statement of facts and findings and justifying whether it's an 8-inch or a 1 foot or would still meet the, you don't have to go through that whole detail, but thank you. I think when I said you didn't need to, I meant more as a theoretical thing, but no, you do have to provide a written thing to back it up so that future boards know where the correction was made and how the board weighed.
Duly noted, and I will verify and get the accuracy of the calculation, and if need be, if I have to have it verified by a surveyor, I will do so.
Yep, maybe that may be the best way.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Yoon, for correcting that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are no callers in.
No, yeah.
So you want to continue this close?
I think we have to continue this because we have to look through all the
Document
documents. Unless commissioners, you feel otherwise, you want to close it, and if anything stands out, then we'll reopen it.
I'm okay with that.
Which closing?
Closing, and if there's any, it seems like Mr. Victoria understands what to do. It doesn't seem.
My only
controversial.
thing is that we have a hearing, the community board is going to hear in June.
Oh, right, yes.
So just for that reason, I want to keep it open.
Okay.
So if there are any questions or comments that come up, then it can be reflected in the plan. So when is the next hearing?
They're scheduled for June 3rd with the Land Use Committee.
June 3rd. You're scheduled for June 3rd?
I didn't respond to Ms. Mafio. I can, after the completion and closeout of this meeting, I will contact Ms. Mafio. I can send you an email directly or to Mrs. Mateus and inform her whether we can get on their calendar at this time. I believe we can. Today is what, only the 21st? 19th, sorry.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you, Mr. Victoria.
all right. We will
Yeah,
do
when,
the continued for June 16th.
June 16th, does that, hold on one second, my client is here currently. Does that give you time to put in the bushes and get the signage completed?
Let's then do July. Let's do July.
He wants June.
Because if he thinks he could get everything in.
He's gonna run and he's already spoken to a landscaper.
Because the submission date is May 29th, Mr. Vittorio.
I have to submit to you by May 29th. And
I
there
would-
isn't a calendar date at the end of June.
Let's do July.
Yes,
So July 14th with the submission date would be June 26th. Better?
duly noted. That works better for me.
Okay, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, continued. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you, sir.
Yes,
Is
all of
everybody-
you also. Thank you, Tony.
Okay, new cases, item number 2025 02BZ 3660 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
This would be Neil.
It's Neil Weisbard.
Anyone else from your team, Mr. Weisbard?
It's like you're on a green screen.
It's two people, so let's see who they're from.
Hi, good afternoon, Neil Weisbard. I also have Eric Mine from Boulder Engineering.
All right,
Is Mr. Faston one of your people?
No.
Okay. Jacob Fastner, well, I don't know, maybe he might be able to speak on this, so let's not push him out yet. Yeah. So ask him to leave yet.
Good afternoon.
Okay, raise your right hands and unmute Mr. Mann. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Hi, Neil Weisbard, Sidefar Shaw on behalf of McDonald's Corporation, who operates the McDonald's at 3660 East Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. Good afternoon, Chair Chanda and Commissioners. I did attend review session and I'll go through your comments and how we will address each one. First, we will revise the statement of facts and findings to conform with the zoning analysis, so the numbers are all consistent. We will revise the statement of findings to correct to a request for a 10-year extension. Regarding the queuing on the site, Eric and I spoke and we will revise the plans to indicate that 10 SUV-sized vehicles can be accommodated, and we will revise the plans to indicate those sizes. We will also add a note to the plans that in no circumstances will vehicles spill onto the sidewalk or Phillip Avenue, excuse me. Regarding the curb cut at the drive-through exit, we will work with your board on replacing the striping with the raised curb. And I know you mentioned that at tomorrow's hearing, there's a case that you prefer this site to look like that. So I'll reach out to Ms. Ebanks Chu for details and we will revise the plans accordingly. Regarding the fences on each frontage, we will add full details of all fences and barriers located on the site and the plans, and I'll also ensure that the statement of findings accurately reflects such materials. Regarding air quality, we will incorporate the findings of the EAS directly into the statement of findings. Regarding the gaps in the landscaping, we will install new plantings and provide photographs to the board to ensure that it complies with the previously approved set of plans. Regarding the current signage, we will ensure that all signage on the site will conform to the plans and the BSA sign analysis and will provide photographs to the board. We will also include an affirmation from McDonald's that all signage will remain as presented to the board as part of this application. Regarding the sound diagram, we will indicate that it is to scale. We will move the cross section to where the adjacent residential building ends. We will correct the coloring in the legend. We will also indicate that the auto volume control, the AVC, is active at all times, and that the readings on the plans are based on the AVC being active. Regarding the lighting plan, we will provide a lumen spread diagram. And finally, I believe we will provide photos of the entire interior of the site as well as the trash enclosure.
For the section of the noise propagation, it's not that you need to indicate, it's you need to redraw it to scale, because right now it's not drawn to. The issue is not that we don't know the scale. If it's drawn to scale or even proportion, we could have like looked at the scale and concluded it, but it's not to scale originally. It's drawn in a manner that's not to scale. So you will need to redraw it.
Okay, we'll correct that. Sorry for misunderstanding.
Yep. Thank you. And I would add one more thing. For the adjacent residential building, if you can add the limits of the building itself, the house, not just the limits for the lot, for the house itself. So we can, because the portion of the site that's adjacent to the house itself, it's adjacent to a plain wall. So we don't have to worry about the noise next to that. But beyond that building, this is where you need to worry about that noise propagation. And this is where you need to like cut your section, the noise section, and draw it.
Yeah, we'll provide that further clarity. Absolutely.
And
We
you will need to
understand the
correct
intent.
the legend, like I indicated. If you look at the colors, that orange is not correct. So you need to switch that orange, I believe, to yellow.
Yeah, we'll provide more clarity. It was actually the outline that matches the color. The shading, we went with the orange instead of the yellow because it doesn't print well, but we'll fix it so that it's fully clear. We
Okay.
understand. Yeah.
There's one thing that I wanted. So with regards to that note about vehicles backing onto the sidewalk to prevent that. We have a standard note that we have been using off late. I will ask our project manager to send that language that you can add to your plan set. And that McDonald's case, it's the other one is also a McDonald's case, and I think Ms. Ebanks is the project manager. So I will ask her to share that site photos from that can help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for boiler engineer. Is the output on the Legend, the 73 decibels, is that based on the maximum output of the speaker?
Yes.
Without the AVC, or this is the maximum measured ambient plus 15, which is based on the AVC? Which
Yeah,
one?
no, that's the maximum, because it's set up to project at that level, but it adjusts to the ambient noise around it. So that's the maximum, and then it adjusts from there based on what's going on.
It can be both. It's if it's the maximum, is the menu board speaker maximum output is 73? Always it goes to like 90 or so.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure it's the 73, but I'll make sure that's clarified when we resubmit.
And what was the ambient measured back then?
We don't have an ambient measured background. This is just how the system performs.
Yes, I totally understand. But if this is the maximum, that means that you're permitting your operator to put the AVC off sometimes.
I will confirm with the operator. My understanding is it's always on.
That's my understanding as well.
Yeah.
So in other words, would this be a worst case scenario, the maximum at
Yeah,
70?
this is demonstrating the worst case scenario. That's correct.
Okay.
If you could just make sure that's clear in the resubmission.
If you can provide us with the specifications for the menu speaker, that would be helpful.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I'm just making a note about that. Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Let's go to the public then.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2025-02BZ, 3660 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the Webern ID number 160000, sorry. Enter the Webern ID number 1600304215 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
How much time will you need to make these corrections?
Eric, how long do you think it would take to do the plantings? Because I think we could turn everything else around in a week.
Yeah, agreed, Neil. The operator usually handles that direct. We'll have to follow up, but I would assume this time of year they could probably do it within a couple weeks. But
Is the board willing to close this? Because then I could speak about different dates, maybe not.
Commissioner, do you want to close it? Do you want to see the? I do need to see the revised set of plans, especially with regards to the nature of the attenuation that is existing and proposed. And so I unfortunately, I do need to see it. But the question is, can we close on it? And if there is anything pressing, we can reopen it.
The issue is that some of the items like goes to the heart of the findings, so I wouldn't close it.
So what I would suggest that we continue this and we can schedule this for June 16th or 17th.
That should work.
Submission date is May 29th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? This concludes the board's public hearing for May 19th, 2025. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Mr.
Bye.
Fasten, if you have not heard your case today, or we have a hearing tomorrow, starting at 10 o'clock, which we have several zoning cases, so maybe that's where your case is being heard. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Oh, there's my little man. Okay, I couldn't find the little man. I couldn't find the little man to leave. What happened?
What happened?
So we've got December 11th review session.